Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Heroes CCL, presented by Wisdom. My name is Bahamut, joined by Grubby and Justing, as well as Springy for week number 2, day number 1. We got a lot of great matches today, but of course, before we jump into all of this great action here on Heroes CCL, gonna ask my friends here what they've been up to in this last week. And since we got Springy with you, Justing, let's kick it off with you. What have you been up to? Are you ready for another weekend of great matches?
Yep, I've just been playing a bunch of video games, been getting into some WoW stuff again. Just doing lots of gaming and Springy time, of course. How about the rest of you?
Well, I do have to ask this before we jump to Grubby, because I do want to hear about his Storm League adventures that he has been going through this week. But I am curious, because I'm sure someone in chat wants to know what class, what are you playing for the Horde? Are you playing for the Alliance?
I'm for the Horde only.
Good.
That's all. And I'm typically a Paladin.
Okay, all right. This is why we brought you back for season 4. Not the in-depth analytics, not your big brain knowledge, just because you are for the Horde, exactly. Now, Grubby, as another Hordian, I guess you could say. That's probably not the right word. But what have you been up to this week? How have your games been in Storm League and other stuff as well?
Yeah, I've been playing Warcraft and HoTS. Team games in both. In Warcraft 3, we're playing a lot of 4-on-4 right now, and in HoTS, obviously 5-on-5. Usually, anyway. Sometimes it's 4v6. I did have that first time Illidan recently. That kind of made it a 4v6. I've been able to use my experience of dealing with frustration of teammates crossplay in both of these game modes. Yeah,
nice.
So it's been really helpful and it's been fun. How about you, Bahamut?
I been doing my best to climb a little bit here and there in Storm League. I started playing another FromSoft game. I started playing Bloodborne. I managed to beat 2 bosses, so I'm very, very proud of myself. I actually found out one of the bosses was optional, so that was a bit of a letdown, but also like, oh, I did it. But either way,
so you're telling me that boss wasn't bothering anyone. It was optional, and you took him down anyway. Like,
there was just,
who's the villain in this game, actually?
I actually was making that joke because I was running around Bloodborne like, I'm just killing people left and right in the city. Like, I think I'm the bad guy. But let's talk about Heroes CCL. Let's start talking about prize pool, because we can actually kind of update everyone on the prize pool and let you know where everything stands, because 60% will be going to the players. You can see that breakdown on the bottom left of your screen. That first place will be taking 35%. And as always, to be clear and well, transparent with all of you at home, the 40% will be coming back to Wisdom to create amazing graphics. And as you can see right here, I mentioned it last week, but for anyone that might have missed last week or they're just jumping in right now, we have Dark Mode for Season 4. We're not going to be swapping back and forth. Big shout out to Vipey. Big shout out to the Wisdom creative crew for creating this entire graphics package. Thank you all so much for the support for Heroes CCL. And because of your support, we've hit $4,625. And if you'd like to donate towards that prize pool, you can hit !prize pool in chat. Now on Twitter, I have not gotten the green light for production, but I'm just going to go ahead and say it. On Twitter, I said that if we hit 6K today, I will give Bandit a treat on stream. So if we hit that 6K today or tomorrow, I'll be sure to give him that treat on stream for all of you. So thank you, as always, for your support. But let's go ahead and when we have a chance here, let's take a look at these league standings, because I'm sure Justing has a lot to break down for all of you from last week, and then a little bit of excitement for this week.
So we see what teams are in the top 4 and bottom 4 from last week, but that's definitely going to change up a bit going into today's matches. The teams that I expect to stay here for sure will be 30k, because Wildheart and Oxygen play against each other today, so not likely to see both of them staying in here. It might be mathematically impossible, because we do see them later today, which I'm really excited for, but if Oxygen and Wildheart weren't facing each other, I would say that those would be 2 teams that I would expect to stay in the top 4. But this is the way that it's shaken up. We've got Chili Mountain, Simplicity down in the bottom 2 right now, the way it seems at least. We've got Storm and Granite, gonna see if they can, Storm and Granite, gonna see if they can pull themselves up. We've got a bit of a separation that's gonna change for sure by the end of the day.
Yeah, we'll be seeing some shakeups on the broadcast on Sunday as well. We'll really be able to take a look and see what really shook out. But let's take a look, because there was a little bit of a mention of what's happening today. You've already mentioned one of the best of 5s, but Grubby, if you could break down for us what we're going to be seeing today, Saturday, May 14th on Heroes CCL.
We're going to be starting things off with the team that has already won a series, 30k, looking damn strong while doing it as well against Simplicity. Simplicity has a different approach this season. They have a number of Korean players enlisted on their team. We saw some adaptation problems last weekend. Today we will see if they can recover from that. now with the preparation of what it's like to play. But 30K must be said to be the favorite here. And Wild Heart versus Oxygen, our marquee match for today, I would say, the second match. Another best of 5. Both have won so far, both looking really, really good. I think it's going to be a great one.
I agree with you. I think the Wildheart versus Oxygen will be the marquee matchup for the day. But of course, we will be starting things out with 30K versus Simplicity. And before we start getting into these rosters and diving in depth into what 30K and Simplicity are, we got to shout out our amazing sponsor, Next Level Gaming, for joining us once again for HeroesCCL. What is Next Level Gaming? They're a Miami-based esports center where you can play Heroes of the Storm among 400 other pre-installed games that are updated daily. Next Level Gaming is also a Blizzard Cafe, which gives you some extra benefits that you don't quite get when you play at home, like extra experience on your account and all heroes being unlocked. They also have HP Omens with Intel i7 processors and RTX 3090s, and with a beast of a computer, they've got 2 amazing monitor options for you at home, or excuse me, at Next Level Gaming as well. They've got a 24-inch monitor at 240 Hz, and they've got a 32-inch monitor at 144 Hz. Be sure to use !NXT in chat to find out more about this amazing esports center. And thank you again, Next Level Gaming, for joining us for Season 4 of HeroesCCL. But we're not done talking about some sponsors and partners, because of course we got to get into Ball Street. We have partnered with Ball Street. HeroesCCL Fantasy is back. We've partnered with Ball Street to bring you CCLmarkets.com. It's a free pick'em game that lets you choose HeroesCCL winners in real time as you watch the action. Simply buy shares of the team you think is going to win the match and sell shares of the team you think is going to lose. The best part, you can change your mind at any time because the market is always open. Buy and sell all match long to get a better score. Every night, the top traders on CCL Markets will win prizes and you can compete all season long. Join cclmarkets.com to win prizes as you watch today's broadcast. Thank you again, Ball Street, for partnering with HeroesCCL. Before we get into these rosters really quickly, Grubby, what are your thoughts on the Ball Street? Because I know you've been using it quite a bit as well. I want to get, any thoughts on it so far as you've been kind of dabbling with it?
Yeah, I think it's pretty interesting. It's been fun. So when the match opens, in fact, it's open now for the first match of Simplicity versus 30K already. Then the market's open. Everyone starts with like 100 stocks per team. And then you can either buy in extra with a little bit of bank that you begin in. Keep in mind, this is all play money. And then you can either sell your 100 stocks or any number of it, or you can buy extra. And it's a constantly developing, let's say, evaluation of the strength of those teams. So for instance, if you begin and you're like, well, I'm going to buy some Simplicity. I think they're going to be doing good tonight. Then the moment that Simplicity gets a kill in a best of 5, people are like, hey, this looks good. Like maybe they win this game. People start buying that stock, right? And then when Simplicity, let's say, loses a hero, then you start selling. It's like, oh no, this isn't looking good. So it's constantly adapting. You're kind of doing live trading, live predictions, all the way until the end of the best of 5. It's pretty cool to play around with, and people should definitely give it a try if they like that kind of thing.
Absolutely.
I do.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I just wanted to get your thoughts on this as well, because you've been dabbling with it, so I'm sure maybe if anyone's hesitant to try it out, I highly recommend you at least give it a shot today and maybe throughout the rest of the weekends of HeroesCCL. But let's start diving into these rosters, Justin. I want to start breaking down these teams because I'm excited to get into our first best of 5 of the day. And who are we going to be seeing over on the side of 30K?
On 30K, we've got Cattle playing the tank. Cure is the flex for the team, Legacy the support, Liam the offlane, and Madara is their main ranged. We've also got B-Kid as the 6th member in case they want to show off a bit. But this is just a superstar roster of NA talent. This is most likely the deemed NA super team of the league this season. Cattle, been around forever on the tank role. Cure, really flexible player, also just super seasoned. You have Liam, who won every single award basically last season. Just a absolutely just insane roster of NA players here on 30K.
A monster of a roster, I would definitely say. But of course, on the opposing side, it is still a scary roster for Simplicity here, Grubby. Who will we be seeing?
We're going to be seeing Apto Dulal Burr, who is spelled as Burr without the lead speak, Porky, Wishing, and Slips. There isn't much I can say about most of them yet. Porky is known as an experienced competitive player in the West. And many of the others are a bit more unknown to us so far. They did lose 0-3 last weekend, and it was tough games for them. we saw a pretty heavy prioritization on Malfurion for wishing and Tychus for their range damage deal.
And we'll be able to break down these rosters a little bit further, or excuse me, the play style of these rosters a little bit further. I've been doing a little bit of research, and I have some fun facts for the draft here. When it comes to 30K, they're the only team to ban Medivh. They banned Medivh in all 4 games last weekend, once in the first slot, twice or 3 times in the second slot. So not even letting Medivh into the second round. That was up against Storm Esports. And speaking of Storm Esports, we had 14 matches played last weekend. 14 Junkrat bans. 12 of them were in the second the second pick ban, where they like the second team to pick was the one to ban it, and for 12 of those games, but only Storm Esports was the team to ban Junkrat in the first spot. So just little interesting stats right there on some of the hero picks that we did see, and mostly hero bans we did see last weekend. Justin, it's really exciting to see these rosters, and I'm curious to get your thoughts on Simplicity versus 30K, maybe just any sort of gut feelings, because we've been talking about this a little bit right before we get into our map picks and bans.
So I'm expecting 30K to 3-0 this series, with the way that the matches went last week. Okay. 30K might be the best team we have in the league. They're competing for it for sure, and Simplicity did look a little bit rough into Wildheart. I'm really curious though, what changes Simplicity has made from last week to now, because they were obviously a little bit disjointed last week, and going up against 30K is no easy task. So potentially on the bright side for Simplicity, they might be getting their hardest matches out of the way at the start, because I think Wildheart is going to be a really strong team as the season progresses, and 30K also looked extremely strong. So being able to, if they do take losses, take it against some of the best teams and have time to ramp up against some of the teams that aren't maybe actually competing for that first place slot should be good for them. But really curious to see kind of what adjustments they can make from last week.
And just a really quick note for anyone wondering, next weekend on Sunday, we're actually going to be seeing Wildheart up against 30K. I'm looking at the schedule ahead, and so that will be a really, really fun one next weekend. But let's start getting into this first best of 5 of the day, because we know where we're going to for map number 1, but I'm sure a lot of you want to figure out how we got to Alterac Pass as our first map in this series. Also, fun fact here, first Alterac Pass map of HeroesCCL Season 4. In total, all teams. Note, we have not seen a single Alterac map yet, but the members of 30K will be banning Garden of Terror. Simplicity, with the coin flip win, will opt for first pick priority and banning out Battlefield of Eternity. Grubby, any thoughts going to Alterac Pass as our first map here?
Well, it's one of my favorite maps. I like it quite a bit. It's a beautiful map. It's a Warcraft map. I love it so much. There's 2 bosses, and there's of course that core mechanic. Right? So the core can only be attacked if a fort and a keep are dead in that lane, but it still has bonus armor from all the other keeps. This is a unique core that functions like a boss hero. It gets 40 armor when there's still 2 keeps alive. So really, realistically, generally, the way to end on this game is to take down 2 keeps at least. Well, on Cursed Hollow, you only need 1, really, to win the game. And that is achieved via either taking both top and bottom boss, difficult, or by constantly pushing in the null pack camp via the center. Through sheer attrition, that null pack camp, when left alone, can eventually push down the middle keep, and that is going to be a very big prioritization when a draft is picked. You need someone like Junkrat or Jaina with good splash damage, or from the bruiser role, such as Hogger, to take down the null pack camp very often.
Or Sylvanas. Like we saw last week.
Sylvanas.
Yeah. Or you could just, yes. or you could take Nova and then take Bribe and then get a null pack camp on a 45-second cooldown, because Nova's the only hero. They used to have it on Vikings. Nova's the only hero in Heroes of Storm where her bribe will actually reduce a camp if you fully bribe it by 50%, and the null pack camp is a minute 30, which is one of these shorter camp timers in Heroes of the Storm. But I do, before we get to this draft, or once eventually we're ready to go, I want to ask both of you this question, because Grubby, you had mentioned it is a hard map to end on. You can't just take down one keep and end like on Cursed Hollow. But which is harder to end on? Alterac Pass or Tomb of the Spider Queen? Because I feel like those are hard maps to end on. It feels like it's either super fast and you just rush through the enemy, or it's like 20, 30 minutes of just trying to build or bulldoze down these structures.
Yes, you are right. Both can be quite tough, but I still feel like there are some short games on Tomb, and there are almost never short games on this map. I have had maybe like 3 short games on the map.
Justin?
Yeah, I've got to agree with Grubby. Alterac is very difficult to end on sometimes. You can need at least 2 keeps usually to end, sometimes even 3. But the objective does scale better than it does on Tomb, for sure. So That's not going to help you to end too quick.
Now, we'll be seeing that null pack, we'll be seeing some bosses, we'll be seeing some contest over the jailer camps, but we're here into Alterac Pass, the first map of the day between 30k and Simplicity, and we're immediately getting rid of that Anubrak. Why is Anubrak so good for a map like this, Justin?
So Anubrak, as we saw quite a bit from Masquerade in the last season, kind of initially, Anubrak is able to use his beetles that he spawns to tank the guards that stop you from channeling the objective. So when normally it would take more than one member to go channel the objective because you need to have somebody to tank or kill the guards, you have Anubrak beetles to do it for you. So if you ever leave Anubrak on his own for any amount of time by the objective, he's going to go over there and he's going to steal some percentage on the objective. So it kind of forces you to just leave one member at all times on your objective so that there isn't any shots stolen away.
And we will be seeing the Anubrak Tracer Lucio ban. The assumption is that
30k
is the one who needs to ban out the Junkrat, and there it is, the 15th ban of the season. And will this be a quick Malfurion here, Grubby? What do you think that Simplicity might lean into?
Ooh. Should be Sylvanas. There we go.
I forgot about the Sylvanas from last week, and it just slipped my mind. How could it, though, realistically?
No, he's doing it on purpose in order to make this surprise. So that we have something to talk about when she gets picked. I know what you're doing, Bahamut. After we saw so much Sylvanas last weekend, I actually started playing her. She's someone I never used to touch. And it went really, really well. I did lose every game with her, but I don't think it was because of me. Don't laugh. She's strong, man. She's so crazy. She's like Rainer, but she has an escape, and she can shut down buildings.
No,
she has Syndragosa.
I agree. Like, I think she's really, really good, but I like the statement of just like it wasn't it wasn't me though. Absolutely.
Recognizable, right? And,
exactly.
And then she's like almost like Tychus. When you take that percentage damage at level 1, she murders Garrosh. It's insane.
Well, we got a lot unfolding here, and of course, Justin, I'm sure you've pieced together a couple things for these drafts. Can we get some thoughts here?
Yeah, it's a little bit interesting to see so Blaze is picked up by 30k. That's not too strange, but Hogger not being picked up by Simplicity is a little weird. I would expect it to be banned here unless they don't mind leaving that up, and they're maybe also worried about something like the Leoric, so they don't care too much which one they ban. I think that's possible. With that in mind, there's not too many clear bans for it if they don't want to ban an offlaner. It is the Hogger ban, so likely we'll see something like a Leoric coming out from Simplicity, and the expectation is that Simplicity had that in mind when they prioritized the Diablo and Rhaegar, knowing that they could get one of those two, so they're kind of okay with either of those. A tank ban would make a lot of sense here from Simplicity. That is the one thing that they already have that their opponent doesn't. Also, a Tychus ban could be good if they're trying to keep Porky alive on the front line. He did struggle a bit with that in the last week's matches.
I was wondering if there was no Hogger prioritization because Blaze could be, he's like that old Arthas, like, am I a bruiser? Am I going to be a main tank? So I was wondering if Simplicity were they were trying to still flex on that solo lane role, and that seems like it will be the case as we are going to see the Anduin ban. So I wonder if Simplicity might be leaning into like a Leoric later on, so they could do like the easy bake oven, they throw like a wailing arrow, they throw in the lightning breath, you've got ancestral healing for Rhaegar if you need it. But I think they're setting up for some sort of Leoric with that Anduin ban, but of course, Grubby, any thoughts on this Garrosh that's coming through as well as the Brightwing?
Garrosh is one of the best tanks to control a Diablo, and it can be really hard for Diablo to get his combo off. Diablo does work with combos. He Qs and then E's, or he QW, then E, W, then QW. It really depends on his build.
Yeah.
But as you'll find when you're playing against top players with CC, they're going to shut down your combos a lot so that you can't get a relevant engage anymore. You need to play a lot more backwards. Having said that, Sylvanas does kill Garrosh something fierce if he overstays on the front line. But Cattle, he's an experienced tank. He's just going to play defensively, let Hanzo poke and engage, and then step up when a Dragon Arrow delivers everyone on a silver platter.
Some decent mobility coming out from Simplicity's draft, but of course, Justin, we've got one more pick coming through. Got to get your thoughts on the pick as well as your breakdown on these drafts as we're about to load into Alterac Pass.
Yeah, I love this. This isn't something that we've seen in a very long time, the Genji with the Malthael. This too as a combination used to be something that has kind of been around for a long time. It's a super strong combo of heroes because while you have the Genji that kills the backline and kills squishies, you have Malthael who kind of makes up for that lack of single target tank killing damage when you have that Malthael paired with it. So it's a really cool combo. I'm curious if we'll see the Dragon Blade that we used to see with this combo because we've seen a lot of X-Strike lately. Here does go with the Zeratul. I think that had this been something like a Tychus instead of the Genji and a Leoric instead of a Malthael, which was kind of the expected two picks from Simplicity, we probably would have seen something like a Maiev coming out from Cure. So really interesting adaptation by Cure to kind of want to not be a target for this, because they're going to want to just sort of press their ultimates on Malthael and Genji and just dive in with either the X-Strike or the Dragon Blade into the backline, while at the same time you have the Malthael diving in. And it's a really strong combo. This is something that we don't see very much. I'm definitely excited to see if Simplicity is going to have the coordination to pull it off. It's very hyper-aggressive, it's very in your face, and I think that is going to play well to Simplicity if they want to find a style as a team. That was something that Porky talked about a bit, is how aggressive his teammates are, is how they're always just looking for playing aggressively, and we didn't really see that too much last week. So with a comp that maybe facilitates that a little bit better, I'm excited to see. But there are a ton of defensive tools on the side of 30k. They've got Polymorph on Brightwing, Garrosh CC, Blaze Bunker CC, VP to slow things down, a lot of control for 30k.
Well, we'll see what happens here because we're loaded on in. As always, Justin, thank you for your analysis and your breakdown, because we have these teams loaded on into map number 1, Alterac Pass. We've got Liam on the Blaze, Cattle on the Garrosh, Kira on the Zeratul, Legacy on that Brightwing, and Madara to play the Hanzo. Over in the red, we've got something unique here. I want to point this out immediately. We've got Genji, played by Porky, Bilal on the Sylvanas, Berber on the Malthael, Opto on the Diablo, Wishing on the Rhaegar. That's your Simplicity roster. And for anyone that is like, why is this such a big deal? Opto played, I believe, like, I think Sylvanas and Falstad mostly last weekend, where Porky played mostly tank last weekend. So this is a really interesting change. We're going to see how this works out for the, from their scrims and stuff like that. I'm looking at a 30k win. I mean, how can you vote against a Cure Zeratul? Let's be honest. But, of course, Grubby, we got to hear your thoughts. I'm sure you've got some ideas here for this matchup.
Yeah, I got 2 things to say. One about Cure, one about the role swap from Simplicity. So let's say if you're like a solo Cure, you play with 3 people that are in a triple queue, you play tank. It's very strange because you're like ordering 3 people around that have their own playbook.
Okay.
Now we've got the Koreans. They have their own tank. They can initiate. They can do their comms by themselves. Let's say within the language understanding. And for Genji, it's pretty obvious when you should follow up. They got CC'd, they got poked down, now you go and finish. It's more of a solo job. So I think it's really a language thing here, is why they swap these 2 up here. But it is a challenge. Yeah, it's early in the season, so there's still time to develop it.
And that's a really good point. I mean, it's not one and the same, but it's like, I actually just had this week. We queued up with, I had 4 friends. We all queued up, and we had 1 rando, and we couldn't communicate to the Maiev like when we're leaving, when we're going in. So I used the basic ping system, and that was one of the things that did also communicate, because I was tanking leading. It was like, okay, I'm looking to back away, so the Maiev knows that we're leaving. So it's one of those things, and I think you're very much right with that, because Maiev, Genji, they know. It's like, okay, I know when I can go in and follow up and find that kill. So really, really nice just breakdown and analysis there, Grubby. And it looks like I jumped into, I was looking over at our production comms, and it looks like Justin's agreeing as well. So y'all seeing right through this is we just have a little bit of poke back and forth through mid lane. We have got the null packs pushed up here and cleared out. I actually don't think either null pack found any value. Actually, still 2 to go, but I think 30k will clear this out before it gets to the front gate.
Yeah, Sylvanas used her black arrows to shut down the hooker camp so that it didn't do any damage in return. So nice use of it, not only using it for buildings, but just to kind of win the wave and make sure that all towers remain unscathed. The second point I wanted to bring up is that Cure is playing as Zeratul. Cure has been streaming some HoTS again, and he said that he had been wanting to play ranged for a long time, which is why he's playing on ranged again, right?
Sure.
But when I was watching his stream, I was seeing that he said, it's like, yeah, I do want to get some Zeratul practice games in because I got to play it a bit this season as well. So he is mostly their range, but also their flex, but Zeratul when needed. He got his practice in. That was a week ago. This is now. Let's see if it's going to be good enough. But for those of you that are new to the CCL or new to CCL Season 4, Cure had taken a break last season, did play Season 1 and 2, was the winning team Season 1 and 2. Then when he took a break, they did not win, and now he is back, and now he's on 30k. And Zeratul was his top most feared hero. It was either you don't pick Zeratul, or you do pick him and lose, or you are Cure, and you win. That's kind of the situation here for Cure Zeratul. So understand us right when we say that we're very excited to see it, and that anything but a victory would be very surprising considering his prowess on the hero. Unless he got rusty, Bahamut.
Oh, I don't know about that one. I mean, we're looking at this build for Cure. Like, I'm sure this build has existed before he was utilizing it in CCL, but I feel like he was the one to really popularize this build. I saw it's coming out more and more. This wormhole, this very mechanically savvy dip, dive, dodge, dip, and dodge constantly onto enemy heroes. And he doesn't find the kill onto Berber, but still enough pressure to force Maltheo to Hearth back. The first objective phase is up and available. For anyone wondering, null packs on the left-hand side, 28 seconds. On the right side, 32 seconds on those cooldowns. And we have a little bit of poke coming out from Madara. 15 stacks on the simple geometry. 14, actually, that's Kier just finishing out his level 1. Warbreaker for the Garrosh at 8 out of 15, so he's got the additional damage over time. Diablo, 52 souls, and Genji with 32 shurikens out of 60 for the Shuriken Mastery. As we sit 8 to 8 in our levels, we're closing in on 10s for both sides. Seems like there's just a little bit of poke right now between both sides. So Cattle and Madara building out some of those level 1 stacks, as that's going to be an initiation from Apto. A lot of damage onto Cattle, forces the phase shift from Legacy.
The Simplicity looked pretty fine so far until this moment. No kills on either side yet, and they looked worse already by this time in their series last week. So not too bad. It's really post level 10 that it fell apart every single time, no matter how it looked earlier than that. So if Simplicity can make it to like level 10, 11, and either be ahead or equal or nearly equal, they're already doing better than last week, and that is a very encouraging thought.
Yeah. And I think that's the big thing when you lose 0-3 like last weekend. The biggest thing is, okay, how do we scale? How do we get that just slight? We want to get slightly better. We don't need to go from 0 to 100. We don't need to be, you know, having a bad weekend to being 3-0ing the enemy team. It's just how do we scale? Because there are a lot of weeks of CCL, and I know every game does matter, but if they lose, you know, 1-3, they take a map off of 30k, that's still something on the board for the side of Simplicity, and that's the big thing to kind of consider as the play days are going, because all of this adds up for that gauntlet. Top 3 guarantees to punch their ticket to the LAN. If you're in top 4, that 4th place has to be kind of the gatekeeper on the ladder play-up, but there's going to be an initiation onto Diablo. He's thrown around. He goes back in. There's going to be a Warlord challenge from the Garrosh, a Lightning Breath, a Last Rites, a Phase Shift, everything coming through, as well as the bunker. Big arrow from Madara locks down the enemy for a second or two. Some scatters, some autos. That's Diablo to go down. Shuriken Mastery finished by the Genji as Garrosh backs away with a couple hundred HP. Liam tries to get out of here. No bunker available for the next 52 seconds, and that's a groundbreaker from Garrosh. Berber's the one who needs to back away, but no, he's trying to make the counter kill happen. It's not gonna work. It's a double kill to Simplicity. Or excuse me, 30k, sorry.
Yeah, to 30k. Well, Burr couldn't get away, there was no doubt about that, so he decided to try and do as much damage as he could while pushing the opponent in a direction away from the objective. Legit. Genji finishing quests is nice. Diablo did start the fight a little bit early before proper support was there. He was kept alive by Rhaegar, but it was a drop in the bucket, really, that healing. Even though Garrosh does not have the healing debuff at level 1. Just, the dude's got a big health pool, man. Did have his soul, so he's going to come back quickly. 2 kills to 30k, but not too bad by Simplicity. I know it may feel like we're a bit high on copium, but it was a better fight than we had seen last weekend.
Yeah. There was a couple shining moments there. The biggest one was just almost getting the kill onto Cattle and getting so many people low, like Liam, forcing down the bunker as that defensive tool. So I will say I agree with you, absolutely. Simplicity does have some shining moments. I'm not counting them out of this match just yet. Things are close, but the levels are very, very near. That's Indomitable. There's a phase shift. Warlord's challenge. Huge arrow. Was it all a great bait? Is it going to turn around? Liam's got the bunker. Can he drop it down? He gets it in time. He's around 50% HP. Here comes a scatter. Madara with the big kill onto the Sylvanas as Cure's trying to back away. Last right should solidify the kill. No bunker close enough for that Cure, as we will see a trade. Sylvanas for the Zeratul. Madara trying to back away. Genji, the brother, with the deflect.
Pretty cool kill there on Zeratul. Last rights, of course, is going to trace him. There comes that Ancestral that missed earlier on Sylvanas. They're going to try to go for Garrosh. Somehow Phase Shift is back again. I'm having a bit of a deja vu. This is the 3rd time Cattle was walking to the south at exactly this point, with Legacy coming in clutch 3 times. He gets saved once again. That was a super cool counter engage by 30k. I can't say it was entirely planned. You said it was a great bait, and maybe it was. I'm not sure. Yeah, it might be, but that was a great counter engage. The arrow coming in, the save on Garrosh.
What I do want to point out during all of this is, yes, Simplicity might have gotten a couple seconds off that first jailer camp. Yes, they might have found a kill of their own, but they lost the top lane fort, which means Reaver minions will periodically spawn in that top lane, pushing things out, and that's a big win for the side of 30k, because Reaver minions, they don't deal extra damage like catapults, but what they do is they have 50 armor, which allows them just to tank so much damage. In Diablo, good night! He's got 99 souls, but he doesn't have a revive. That's Diablo dead, and Berber might have gotten... Oh no, Kier's not going to take a super risky play here, and that actually might be... No, he should be able to get away, right?
Well,
Last right's phase shift. Oh! And he goes back in! And he goes right back in, and he finds the kill.
Nasty. And he's full life.
Yep. And we have cavalry as well coming out from Stormy McStormface as well on the left-hand side from the Alliance. Did I lose you?
No.
Oh, sorry.
I miss what you said. Yes. What did you say?
Oh, we have the Alliance cavalry coming out. That's just all. That was just, it was, we have lanes being pushed out. Actually, with this, do you want to jump into maybe 30k comps, hear how they're pushing in?
Yep, let's check it out.
He would walk there, like that guy's crazy for
I'm coming mid now,
Good dive this.
I might have a flank.
Yeah.
Genji's behind us though, but I'm flanking.
One's down.
Any help over here? Stunning and then Buckrafter.
Oh, you're low.
I need
throw probably. Yeah.
Nice, good saves.
That was my
Just
bad.
walk. They're 5k right now.
We should chill, I think. We're getting
Yeah,
value
our
though.
top's
from
gonna
the other.
keep. We should
I have
pressure.
Polly
Yeah.
if he's in. Okay, he's out.
We pressure, we're getting value in the other waves.
Yeah.
I'm a little chunked, but yeah.
They're split.
Yeah, we get it.
They're
Maybe
clear.
kills.
Dropping aggro.
Air 120.
Let's go bottom box.
Yeah, we
let's
can
go.
do it. We have 20 or 16.
I need a back, and I have Z in too.
Yeah.
Probably just siege with it with 16 advantage.
Oh, Genji
I
just
think I
eat.
can do camp
I'm
while
gonna
you
trap
guys do
this
it.
guy. He
Okay,
just-
you're alone, but it's fine.
I love the communication we're hearing from 30k. Like, I think one of the discussions we had last week on Grubby was too many cooks in the kitchen. This just seems like everyone knows their role in the kitchen. Like, we've got a lot of cooks, but everyone knows what they need to do. Like, Kira's on mashed potatoes. You got Madara, he's seasoning the steaks. Like, it's so well done from 30k, the way they're communicating and playing these moments.
Yeah, that's true. It sounded really clean. They knew exactly how to play the macro. They got a really great result out of the objective. And Zeratul in the center, trying to go for Porky once again. Perhaps feels like he has something to prove. The two flex players now trying to get Porky multiple times there. Meanwhile, I'm thinking of a number of moments where Abdo was manhandled on that Diablo, looking like an island all by himself there. Gotta watch out, gotta make sure his team is there with him when he steps real far forward. He doesn't have an angel watching over his shoulders like Cattle. Legacy coming in hot with that Brightwing. There is no Anduin, there's just a Rhaegar. If he's not near, he ain't no good to Diablo. So let's see how it goes. Big engage on Diablo, he's getting bullied. In comes the arrow.
Berber getting chunked to about 50%, the core falling low. There's a Warlord's Challenge taunt toss and Polymorph. Good night, Porky. That's a bunker, or excuse me, sorry. That was Jet Propulsion from Blaze connecting onto the Sylvanas, as she will fall. Mid lane keep could be the new target, as Kira's already starting to work on the gate. The null pack is here. The next objective, this is the second objective up and available, as Drekthar will clear out the boss through bottom. How do we know this is the second objective? Because the second objective is 40 seconds of channel time necessary, first being 30, and then the third onward being 50 seconds of channel time. So we know this is second. We'll see. Is this going to be a turnaround for the camp? I don't know. Here, Grubby, I think they could go core.
Yeah, I think so. The core is now down to 20 armor. They don't have any Reaver minions or Null Pack camp to push alongside with them, though. And Diablo does come back immediately with his souls, of course. And so now they're fighting for the Null Pack camp. I mean, this is a desperate play here by Simplicity.
And this is not going well for Simplicity, as Liam lands the double stun with the Jet Propulsion, as it has that stun, or that splash stun. Dual is taking a ton of damage. Zeratul lands the Singularity Spike. It's not even necessary. That's a quadra kill for Simplicity. Make it a pentakill for 30k. I don't know why I keep messing up their names, but either way, it's gonna be 30k who find the pentakill. They lose Hanzo, and this will be map number 1 going over to their side. I have to say, a well-controlled game from the side of 30K. I think they did a fantastic job of reading when they need to initiate, when they need to leave, and how to play safely and also aggressively. Simplicity, though, having some shining moments here. I'm excited to see how this series progresses, Grubby.
Yeah, pretty scary to be up against Zeratul here from Cure. He's back with his era. Maybe they felt they are safe from him because of the ranged assassin role that he had, or the flex role that he had in the roster, but not so much. But more than that, it's also really nice saves by Legacy, great engage by Garrosh, and Hanzo, great accuracy on those arrows. Good dragon arrows, good scatters. Cream of the crop play by 30K. And Simplicity, while they did look marginally better than last weekend as a whole, there were some pretty big issues in their synergy, their engages, and the general game plan. We didn't see super inspired moves, something that would surprise us, something that would throw off 30K. Just trying to constantly patch a hole. If Diablo gets attacked, try to save him, try to fight.
So, Justing, I hope this is not a rude metaphor here, but is Simplicity starting to have to bail out the sinking ship, or is this just, you know, a couple little patches here and there? Is the ship salvageable? Because that game looked hard.
It did look like Simplicity's improved from last week at the start of the game, but unfortunately it also looks like 30K has improved from last week. So both teams looking a lot better, I'd say, this week. 30K just looking even better. The one thing that's a little bit weird to me is to see Cure playing Zeratul already. That was something that I kind of expected, is because it is very much a double-ranged meta, and the Cure Zeratul build kind of counters that, and I would say that Cure is a little bit more shaky on the ranged heroes than he is on things like the Zeratul. That's what he's really known for. I kind of expected him to sort of pretend like he doesn't play that anymore until they're in the finals or something, so to see that picked right away, I'm kind of torn on that, because on one hand, it's good to kind of just play what you think is best. That's something that I was doing at the end of HCC, where I was playing Zool against teams we didn't need to play it against, but like it was just the way that I thought the best way of playing the game was. So if that's what he's doing, I like that, but hopefully he's got more stuff for later on. 30K comms, though, were infinitely better than last week. You touched on that during the match. They sounded a lot less hectic. Their comms were just really clean. It did feel much less like there were too many chefs in the kitchen, and more like they were delegated to their stations. We had, you know, our appetizers, and we had our salad station and everything. Felt like they were really on MasterChef, doing it live with all of them, all their stations. No beef Wellingtons to be thrown away for 30K. And yeah, they just looked really, really clean. The first fight looked a little bit shaky. They almost lost someone to the last rites, but they do have Blaze Bunker to counter that, so they have tools for it. A lot of defensive options for 30K. The thing that I'm mostly kind of concerned about, I guess, going forward is if Simplicity is able to all play super aggressively and all be just a little bit more on the same page, I think things could be slightly different. Also, seeing the last rites was a little bit strange when they do have Blaze Bunker that basically completely counters that unless Liam like falls asleep, which Liam won every single award last season, so I'm expecting him to be able to bunker the last rites. Normally when you see the combo with the Genji and the Malthael, it's with the Tormented Souls, because it just allows your whole team to just hard engage with the Tormented Souls going off, and everyone's just taking % damage and everyone's diving forward into the backline with the reset you get from that, because that's kind of what you combo with the Dragon Blade, but it felt like they maybe just still weren't quite on the same page. They did move Apto onto the main tank position, which for the majority of the early game looked quite a bit better, but maybe just not good enough. This was really, really nuts by Cure. He basically just turns what looks to be a 1v3 into a 3v1 just in a couple of seconds with the Brightwing teleport from Legacy, just completely turning it. And after the first two teamfight losses for Simplicity, they kind of fall apart. This composition is hyper aggressive, and if they were able to get an early advantage, if they had gotten that first last rites kill, this game might have been quite a bit different, because their composition is a really snowbally composition that is super aggressive, that needs to be just constantly going in no matter what. So as soon as Simplicity's comp falls behind, they're kind of just doomed into all the defensive tools from 30K. So both teams look a lot better from last week, though, and if Simplicity is able to clean things up a bit, they might stand a chance in Game 2, but 30K are an absolute titan of a roster right now.
It's just a big bowl of pho right now that the members of 30K are putting together, and it is delicious here, Grubby. I gotta get any closing thoughts you had from that game as well.
Well, not much that hasn't already been said.
Okay.
I think Simplicity had a pretty good draft, and I think Justin summarized it pretty damn well. They're gonna have to move to map number 2. And
Yeah.
just do their best. I don't think there's a magic cure where if you just do this or just do that, you can get the victory here. 30k looked really solid.
Yeah, I definitely think everything looked really good for 30k, but we're ready to find out where we're going to for map number 2 in our first best of 5 of the day, and we can get you all caught up onto that one because it is going to be another map choice by 30k to take us to Infernal Shrines as the losing side, which is going to be Simplicity, choosing to have first pick priority for this map. I can't really blame them. Seems like they want to make sure that they can lock in their Sylvanas or something, particular for their team, because it seems like that's what Simplicity has been mostly focused on, is getting what they want. They don't seem to really care too much about the maps that they do head to. Any thoughts here, Justin, as well as we head into Infernal Shrines? I mean, it is one of the best maps for double soak rotations. Any hero that really can scale with any sort of double soak rotation. A good one that comes to mind that we don't see very often, we saw a couple weeks or last weekend, was Nick playing Kerrigan. I think Kerrigan's a fantastic for this map. You can get some chain lockdowns, but any thoughts of your own for this Infernal Shrines potential?
Yeah, it's also a map where things like Malthael are a lot stronger than any other map. This would be pretty much the only map where I would justify picking something like a Malthael or like a Sonya when heroes like Blaze and Hogger exist. That kind of category of tanky offlane sort of just beats everything right now in pretty much every single circumstance, with the exception of on Shrines. Leoric is the only one from that category that really does what the other ones do, like the Malthael and the Sonya on Shrines, so I wouldn't be surprised to see maybe foregoing the Blaze pick in exchange for a Hogger or a Leoric. But if they want to play the Malthael, this would be the map to do it. Same with things like Sonya, and I know that the Korean team's drafts are a little bit wild, so we'll see if they look to try that again. If they do, I hope to see the Tormented Souls instead of the Last Rites. I think it's a lot more important for that combo of just kind of diving in and going hyper aggressive.
Could see like a nano Tormented Souls. That used to be a pretty popular thing. Garrosh with Diva Bomb is popular as well on a map like this, so we'll see what does happen. But of course, any thoughts as well, Grubby? Or any anecdotes about your times here on Infernal Shrines?
And no, not per se. I was thinking about last weekend.
Okay.
Both of you mentioned that the team that Rhaegar had been on had been trending more towards the losing side. And today we see again a high prioritization of Rhaegar coming in. And not with the standard build either, the one that's highest on the Storm League win rate, where you take all the totem talents and you get a lot of utility, a lot of damage, a game-winning level 16, and so on. But went with the doggy build into Purge. So fast movement at 1, Purge at 7, probably to try and save people from Garrosh and whatnot. Rhaegar didn't win again. Sylvanas was picked. Is it time to move away from that Rhaegar a bit? Is his value in Storm League starting to separate itself from his value in CCL? Or is it just the teams that have picked him so far haven't played him as well?
I don't have the win rates on it, but Rhaegar, out of 14 games last weekend, was picked 10 times, banned out only once. So I don't have the stats on how many of those 10 games did he actually win, but of course, Justing, similar bans from map number 1. Do we see that initial Sylvanas already?
It will likely be the Sylvanas first pick unless Simplicity wants to do something totally different. If they play Medivh, that is something that could kind of shake things up quite a bit, especially on Infernal Shrines. It's one of Medivh's best maps. That is something that I was thinking about when you were giving the stats earlier, Baha, was with the Storm and the Junkrat and Medivh bans. I think that was a tell specifically to Storm as a team. I think that means that Storm plays Medivh. I think that's, sorry for leaked, I'm just thinking through it, but that makes a lot of sense. The Junkrat is the best counter to Medivh as well. So if you wanted to first pick Medivh, you would absolutely be banning the Junkrat. So just once we get into the series, I've been thinking about that. That's been gnawing at my brain. That's all that probably means, is that Storm just really likes Medivh, is my guess.
Hey, I mean, and definitely these teams see a lot more of each other throughout scrims and stuff in the week, and so I'm sure there's a lot more information that these teams have over each other than we possibly even know. Of course, Grubby, what are you thinking here? Is this going to be another Diablo Rhaegar?
Well, I hope not. I think try something different because you've already tried it once. If anything, even if you're going to lose it, you should try your entire playbook and not to just repeat the same concept. So I like this. Is it going to be Portapult with Light Bomb engage, which I actually found the timing to be quite difficult of?
Yeah.
Or just using Hogger as side lane and then do a spinny thing on the objective and then give him a Light Bomb and pray? Or do you spin into the enemy team and use that as a light bomb, which is a little bit easier to do with the timing since Hogger has that wind up? Gonna be one of those, or maybe light bomb will go to somebody else. The question is, who will tank this game, Porky or Abdo? I'm assuming it's gonna be Abdo again.
I wonder if there's any sort of potential into Sylvanas Light Bomb as well when she gets Windrunner, so she can throw the Haunting Wave in. She can trigger, you can trigger all that. I don't know the timing on that one and how it all works out, but I'm sure that the window for it is maybe a little bit more manageable with the Sylvanas. As Grubby was mentioning, that Hortipult can be a little difficult. I mean, Joanna's still up and available, which blows me away. Like, we actually just had a Kyle Ferguson sit-down video with Caesar Salad from last weekend, and in the start of the video, he's like, how'd you get Joanna? And, like, I think it was like a 5th pick, and he's just like, I don't know why no one's playing Joanna, but she is so good right now. And on Infernal Shrines, like, this is arguably one of her best maps, Justin. I'm kind of blown away that we're still no priority, no bans on her either.
Yeah, it is quite strange. The nerfs weren't too huge. It was mostly just damage on her E, on her shield flare, her blind. So really weird. And I guess the ultimate, you get less CDR from the Fallen Sword.
Yeah, the Heaven's Fairy,
Yeah, Bless Shield is still really strong on Johanna. If you have a composition that can one-shot the enemy frontline, which Tychus also hasn't been being prioritized quite as highly as I think he should. Maybe they don't want to do it now on the side of Simplicity into the Johanna with those blinds, but Tychus is a lot more about the Odin now than he used to be. I really prefer Simplicity's early first 3 picks. I think this makes way more sense. They pick the Hogger instead of trading over the Blaze for a Malthael later on, which doesn't really make sense draft-wise. And then they don't have to ban the Anduin because they pick the Anduin themselves. This is interesting. ETC is something that he's a little bit too squishy to be like OP, but I think that in terms of just the amount of CC that he brings, he has the best CC of every single tank in my opinion on his base kit. His W and his Q are both AoE, they can both affect 5 members. Both of his ults will affect 5 members if used properly. I mean, Mosh Pit's obviously difficult, but I think Stage Dive with the buff to the level 20 somewhat recently is just, you take it every game. I think Stage Dive on ETC is just kind of nuts at level 20. It's 80% slow for like 5 seconds on the entire team. Mephisto though, very, very scary on this map, and especially scary into a heavy melee composition that we have from Simplicity. All of them are going to be really clumped up on the shrine when they're looking for kills. They're going to be diving in really deep and being very close to each other. So I really like the Mephisto coming out from 30k. I think this is Mephisto's best map, and they picked it into a triple melee comp from Simplicity. So both teams have stuff going for them. This is a weird situation where the Sylvanas from Simplicity, I'd almost prefer to be a Jaina instead. They don't really have, I don't typically like Jaina that much, but they have, if they had a little bit more damage on the front line, they would be able to just slide and one-shot someone with the Maiev combo into the, Jaina stuff. But with Sylvanas, it'll be a little bit slower damage. They might need Hogger to be there if they really want to get kills in the early game. But we kind of have a similar dynamic to last game where we have a lot of defensive tools on the side of 30k and just a ton of aggression on the side of Simplicity. So it's going to be up to 30k to kind of just play it a little bit slower and wait for Simplicity to make a mistake and then counter-engage. But if Simplicity is able to have really clean engages, they have a ton of CC now between the ETC and the Maiev with the Light Bomb as well. I really like comboing those two heroes together. It's one of the scariest combos for a frontliner in the game because you get slid by ETC, fairly unavoidable, and then you have the tether on you and you can't really go anywhere unless you're a Johanna. So they do have a Johanna. Cattle will be okay this game, I'm expecting, but anyone else who steps into that front line is going to be in a lot of danger.
I'm staring at this and I'm just like, I don't hate the ETC, but I have seen the light in this past week, Justin, from all of your Muradin talk. I have 4 gone Sledgehammer at level 4. I'm all Reverb. I'm all Dwarf Toss and Reverb, especially with the Bronzebeard Rage. And I honestly, when I was sitting here, I was like in my brain, I was like, I would have loved to see a Muradin with their composition. I think he's just so strong in control. He can dive in. You've got Dwarf Launch if you want to utilize that as a Light Bomb tool as well. But we'll have to see how everything works out. I mean, Stage Dive Light Bomb is something I think we have seen in the past. I think we saw it in one game last season, if I'm not mistaken, but we're about to get loaded into Infernal Shrines here in just a second, and really, really excited for this one. Justin, as always, thank you so much for your knowledge and your breakdown as we are going to get into this map here in just a second. All that good stuff in between. Man, I cannot wait for this one. Should be really, really fun here as we can introduce our teams in just a second. I think once we jump into actual game, but it seems like we're gonna have a quick little pause. We're gonna get something figured out in the meantime. But of course, yeah, Grubby, I was gonna jump right to you, of course.
I have a question, Justin. If you had to give the top 2 reasons why ETC is a good pick here for Simplicity, what would that be?
Ooh.
It combos really well with Maiev, both of them having a lot of AoE control. Also, it does kind of, you need Hogger now in the 4-man to do damage. You can't really have, since you have a Sylvanas that has really slow damage, if you had something like a Jaina, you would maybe be able to get kills with like an ETC, a Maiev, and a Jaina with your Anduin. You don't really have that with what you have right now. But something that the ETC does provide is if you do go with the stage dive, which I think is just always the pick now, with all the interrupts in the game and with the level 20 upgrade being so strong, you could have your ETC split, and then your 4-man can still look for kills because Hogger does enough damage to actually be able to get kills with the Sylvanas in the 4-man. So we'll see if they flex it that way. Not sure if they will. But then also at level 20, the stage dive is just so nuts, and Simplicity is going to be looking to fight really aggressively on the Shrine and dive in all at the same target when the Maiev takes the E. The expectation is sort of that Maiev is out of vision over the wall, throws the E over, gets the light bomb, pops it on the enemy team, and they just dive in. And so stage dive being able to, or ETC being able to stage dive into the back line and disrupt everyone can be really huge for them there.
I'm just looking at some the initial picks here as we are just getting a couple things settled in the background before we get into map number 2, Infernal Shrines. And I'm looking at Maiev specifically, looking like they're going into the Spirit of Vengeance build. So I'm wondering if we're going to see Porky on this Maiev, who's going to be diving into the backline, especially with the level 4, where you get the sudden vengeance, which I can't remember the percentage off the top of my head. I think it's 30%. It seems way too high, but
The
30%
that's way
it's
too high.
8, I think.
It's 8. Yeah,
It's-
you're right.
it's-
I
it
said
might be
30. I'm
6.
like,
The max
might
wait
be
a minute.
6.
Hold on a
Damage?
second. Yeah.
It might be
30%.
6.
Hold on. Yeah, I think you're right.
I think
with
it's 8.
I think
It's
you're
8
right
or
with
6.
8.
I don't remember which.
I might be able to cheat this and find out. But we are just getting
6.
Yeah.
There we go. My apologies. I don't know why I said 30. Maybe we're doing some multiplication.
It should be 30. We should make
Yeah,
that
yeah.
change.
Let's buff it. Let's buff it, Justin. That's a good one. You know, I get people coming to my
Bring
stream all the
back
time.
release Maiev.
Exactly. Yeah. Oh yeah. You know what? Let's just revert the stuff on Garrosh and let's revert the stuff
Hotfix Zarya.
on
You guys remember
on
that?
Ming. Oh no. Oh
Anyone
no.
remember when
yeah.
Zarya got hotfixed? She was like
Yeah.
the worst hero in the game, and then they brought her back and hotfixed her. They're like, oh, she's too weak. They hotfixed her, and her Q was like half-shotting towers. Like, it was so disgusting. They made her by far the strongest thing in the game for a little bit.
That was the funnest. It was like release of Zarya, meh. Hotfix like 2 days later.
Yeah.
Oh my god, you win every single game. But I believe I think that was all like PTR. I actually don't know if any of that was actually got to be played
I think
live.
that got to be on live.
Did it get to go on live?
I think
Oh
I
my
remember
God.
that ruining my games. Yeah, I'm pretty positive. I don't think I would have remembered
guy-
that.
You guys remember Release Lunara though?
Oh,
Release Lunara felt so strange in her stutter step that you would constantly cancel your own auto attacks and melee attacks. I think she was like one of the few heroes that didn't follow the creed of MOBA game devs releasing heroes a bit too strong. So she was like a 40% hero or something when she came out.
So for anyone wondering why we're just talking about Heroes on release, it's because we really, really love Heroes of Storm. We wanted to give you a big history. No, we are, right now we have a couple little tech issues that we need to get settled in the background, so we will get into the game in just a few seconds here. But I mean, as we're talking about Infernal Shrines, I think the biggest thing we can talk about is, for anyone who might be new to the map or anything like that, I think Grubby or Justing, if we could break down some of the important factors for this map, like Justing, like what is the key thing to remember on this map? Is it double soak rotations? Is it ganking the soul lane? Or is it focusing on the objective when it does pop up?
The main thing is kind of understanding your power, your power windows. If you contest for an objective early and both teams contest all the way, like we saw in one of the matches last week, and it goes to 39-39 and one team takes it, the other team is in a very bad spot because they used all those resources trying to get it, but didn't. I think it's a lot about knowing when you're strong and knowing when you should just kind of give the objective and trade for something, because if you only if you send a lot of resources to the fight and you lose members and lose the objective, it's very doomed. So it's kind of just knowing when you should fight, but when you should fight, you need to fight. And the map's all about the 5v5s and whoever can win those team fights at their power spikes.
And I think the big power spike to consider is that 10 talents here. Will ETC go into stage dive? Will they try and light bomb that? Will he look for some mega mosh? Will it be some sort of like Hogger, spin, light bomb, mosh pit follow-up, wailing arrow? Like there's a lot of things to consider when it comes to the 10 talents for Simplicity. But the same can be said here, Grubby, for the members of 30k. I mean, Joanna, Blessed Shield, or Falling Sword is a game changer, game maker.
I think especially, I think they're really just going to try and focus ETC. He's one of the squishier tanks. At the end of the day, it would be great if they can bait out Anduin's Leap of Faith before trying to blow someone up, because he's going to cancel one engage.
Oh, fair.
But even if he does, you get a Blessed Shield, you focus everything on ETC. There's a lot of splash damage, right? Blaze, 600 damage splash charge. Hanzo can get some big splash with his ult as well. Mephisto is going to target one, but he'll still do damage to the others. So if ETC actually gets Leap of Faith out after all-inning him with Blessed Shield and Root and so on, it's not like Maiev and Hogger can just step up and start taking damage from Hanzo and Mephisto and just be there by themselves too easily. Rather, the question should be, can they approach this fight in a way that Justin is seeing the fight, where it's simplicity that engages upon the Johanna team, where you say, yes, someone will get Blessed Shield and I'll try to save them, but we just jump on them all at the same time. And really, the way they need to do it is not to group up around one target. They cannot try to blow up Johanna. Simplicity will need to try and go for multiple targets at the same time, so that one, they don't group up for Mephisto. Two, they don't group up for multi-hit of Moonfire, which would give a portion of healing to everyone for every hero you hit with Moonfire. That can't be happening, because no one's going to die in that case. So yeah, ETC here, and then Maiev coming here, and Hogger spinning through like that, and then it could work out quite nicely.
Well, as I mentioned, we are just getting a little tech issue out of the way. We're getting everyone back into the game as quickly as we possibly can, and we should be able to get into Infernal Shrines in just a minute here. Thank you all at home for being patient during this time. While we actually have this opportunity, I think the big thing, just so I want to quickly note to all of you, if you have not checked out the prize pool, I recommend you hit ! prize pool in chat if you'd like to donate towards the match arena, towards the players, towards that prize pool. We're at $4,625 because of your support, and we also encourage you to hit ! NXT in chat to check out our amazing sponsor, Next Level Gaming, who has joined us once again for HeroesCCL Season 4. And you know what? We're waiting for this game to get into. We're waiting to get into this game, and I'm just getting messages from production, so we're getting closer and closer. I know it's not about this game particularly, but I want to gauge both of you. How excited are you guys for the LAN? We have a LAN for CCL Season 4, and we haven't really talked about it in depth. I think this is, we're in a pause. Why not kind of talk about the LAN a little bit here? Grubby, how excited are you? Are you excited to go to Mall of America and ride roller coasters? I guess cast Here's a Storm, but yeah.
I love roller coasters, so yeah, it's been a long time. It'll be nice to feel like a kid again in roller coasters, or being at a gaming event in Minnesota. It's going to be August 5th to 8th, guys, in Bloomington. Is that
Bloomington, right? Minnesota. The mall. It's going to be in Mall of America. So make sure.
In Mall of America in Bloomington, Minnesota, August 5th to 8th this year. A Heroes LAN, guys. We're going to be there. We're going to be casting it, bringing you the action there. There's going to be lots of people there. It's a mall and roller coasters. Did we mention that?
No. It's the mall.
It's
the Mall, of
America.
America.
Yes, the mall.
Justin, your thoughts as well. I mean, how does it feel to go back to a LAN event, but you're not actually a player? I was actually thinking about this last night. I was like, I think everyone who's going to the LAN so far, guaranteed, has done some sort of LAN event. I haven't yet. I mean, I've been to one, but I haven't casted like Grubby. I haven't played in one like Grubby or Justin.
You've never done a LAN event?
No.
Oh.
I got to.
It's our honor to experience it with you.
I know, right? You're gonna have to hard carry me.
That's gonna be a blast. I'm super excited for it. It's been such a long time. It's been years, literally years. It's been what, like 4 years almost since my last LAN. So yeah, definitely very excited to go see everybody just experience that LAN experience. That was by far. We heard this in some of the interviews from some of the older HCC players. That's just the best part of doing this, being playing games for a living. I'm sure Grubby can attest to this, that the LAN is what you play for, and yes. Yeah, it's gonna be really exciting.
Those are the memories that will stick with you for forever, for sure.
I mean, I've had the pleasure of carrying around like 40 pounds of camera equipment around BlizzCon. Oh, my favorite is my friend and I carried an entire computer from the Sheraton Hotel all the way to the media room on the first day of BlizzCon. And that was an absolute nightmare because we were editing videos live at BlizzCon. So I would do a recording with like Skimmy, because I did an interview with Skimmy or Lana Bashinsky, and I would go run to the media room, give my SD card, and the guy would start editing it immediately. And I'll never forget just carrying around so much equipment around BlizzCon. So that's my experience, is just carrying stuff and interviewing people.
That's one of the best parts about being a pro player at the event is you don't actually have to carry your own computer to the stage.
Ooh. So I'll call my friend Hostile to carry my my casting equipment. But you know what, Justin, I'm going to kick you out of here. We're ready to go. We're in game. Thank you so much, everyone, for being so patient. We are here into Infernal Shrines. Thank you once again for being so patient. We got everyone in here. We're ready to go. And we got 30k on the left, Liam on the Blaze, Kira on the Hanzo, Joanna, played by Cattle, Legacy on the Malfurion, Mater on the Mephisto. On the right side, Simplicity Duel on the Sylvanas, Porky on the Maiev, Apto on the ETC, Berber on the Hogger, and Wishing to play the Anduin. As I said, we're loaded on in. I'm calling for a 30k win. What do you think here, Grubby? Any thoughts that we might have missed in the couple minutes we just sat talking about the matchup?
No, I think we pretty much covered it.
I think so.
The second match of the night as well.
Yeah.
And we have solved the great questions of the universe as well. But now let's go back to the start. Let's go back to this game, and we'll see how this ETC draft is going to be working out. And I'm curious at his build as well. We don't see ETC all that much. He's decided to go for the proc rock. Gathering regen globes gives him more self-healing, and he will start sharing that healing if he can get 20 regeneration globes. He's got 1 right now. Orky jumping in, getting a bit of an umbral bind on Madara, who very happily holds his hand and joins him for a walk.
Double soak rotations will continue. You are going to see Kato with the shield glare at level 1. So he's going to have that zealous glare, at level 1, which gives him the additional charge. We should see the holy renewal at level 16, if I'm not mistaken, to give a little extra healing. And we could see blinded by the light at level 20, which is great because it pairs well into the double stacking of your shield glare. So you get cooldown reduction on the storm shield with said shield glares at level 20. But we'll continue to see different builds as well. I'm excited to see what Mephisto goes into. Are we going to get cooldown reduction from regeneration globes? Are we going to be going full lightning build? We'll have to find out. Madara being the target. Big spins from Berber, but they have to back away. That's a lot of damage onto the Hogger. A big condemn from Cattle will
Mephisto!
connect. Madara with the chunk, but it's not enough. I will say this though, Apto and Berber getting extremely low Porky, around 50%, as there was an attempt for the dismount in the rotation, but Madara still putting pressure on Apto.
Madara was crazy effective there against those 3 melee. It's not really just any random time. It's where Simplicity tries and engage Bahamut and then has to walk away.
Yeah.
And something slows them, perhaps a oil spill or maybe Johanna's level 4 Q. It does an 80% slow when she hits more than 1 target. It's those moments you've got to be extra careful. Mephisto chasing without any threat and just getting the ideal Lightning Nova. That was insane. So much damage. Let's see how they're going to be getting on during the first objective. Now, on this map, the first objective always starts when both teams are level 6. Unless, like, I don't know, you're playing ARAM and Bronze and nobody soaks. You're level 6. The only way you can be level 7 and having that leg up talent over your opponent is if you kill, like, 2 to 3 towers. Or if you delay the objective and you first do, like, a bunch of double soaking. Or if you get, like, a couple of kills. None of that has happened so far yet. So it's a very tenuous equality here.
In top lane, we are going to be seeing Cure on that Hanzo doing a little bit of split soaking as he is looking to push up the wave. He's got the explosive arrows at level 4 that allow him to kind of split and do this, forcing the Fallen Shaman a little further up, and we will have Porky on that Maiev in top lane, clearing that out as the objective phase. Frozen Punisher has begun. A little experience advantage, about a quarter level to the side of 30k. That should be matched soon by Simplicity, but the assumption, at least at the rate that we're going, is that 30k will be able to grab the first objective. Porky getting pressured. It's getting pressured right now. Big spin from Hogger. Did he land the infinite kind of square bounce here? It seems like he's doing pretty good. I actually had a view.
I think he's going to be out of control in the next 3 spins. It's not quite a perfect square. It's quite hard. I think maybe like the 3rd revolution. But Hanzo kill has gotten there. 32-19 in skeletons. Actually, it's a really good spin. He keeps going. He keeps going. He's not going out of control yet. Had way more in him than I thought. 36-25 in skeletons. They're trying to get the last skeleton. 1 more skeleton required here for 30k.
Madara wants it with something here. Maybe it was the Skull Missile. Maybe it was the Jet Propulsion. Porky lands a number bind onto 2 players. There's going to be a hunting wave from Sylvanas as the Chastise does connect onto Madara, as well as a staggering blow with the Loot Horde. But oh my god, Dual gets hit by the Punisher in lane. Iron Skin used by the Joanna Shield Glare. That's Cattle trying to put as much pressure as he can, but that is Madara with the kill steal on that Mephisto. First kill to the side of 30k will be into the Sylvanas as Hanzo Cure already back in the bottom lane. Big condemn from the Joanna. Does have that 80% slow, as Grubby had mentioned. Hit 2 or more heroes, and you'll be able to get that 80% slow as Hanzo gets soaking bottom. It is a 1-to-1 in kills, but we do have better rotations and better experience to the side of 30k.
Yeah, what's really rough to see the two basic mistakes the Simplicity made there. One is that Dulao and Sylvanas got hit by that Punisher jump. It doomed her to death. And the second one is that 2 members took the second Immortal, the second Punisher stun. You really, as a pro player, you need to find out the timings, either by feeling and intuition or by counting, of when the cooldown of the Punisher is back again to do a stunning jump. And when that happens, never be next to each other and try to use your Unstoppable in order to dodge that hit. So this made it a bit easier for 30k to pile on damage, get some kills, get some extra value. Simplicity did nice to almost try and get back those skeletons. They did get a kill there, but now slightly trailing. Let's see how they can take it from here to try and repair the situation. Sylvanas is going top together with Hager, so they're going to go for a Black Arrow attack. Let's see how 30k responds.
That's an arrow from Hanzo, not connecting, but the Jet Propulsion will onto Wishing, who's just trying to get... Ouch, that is rough. The burn...
It's a full body block.
The burn onto Anduin. He's going to be able to cry his way back into the game in the next 13 seconds as the bottom lane will be opened up further. The reason they're prioritizing bottom on the side of 30k is because there is an Arcane Punisher coming up next in said bottom lane, and with the level lead that they have, why not try and take down, or at least get some initial siege into this bottom lane as the fort falls down to 50%.
It's going to be Mosh Pit, not the stage dive, which the virtues have been extolled by our analyst Justin for this stage dive. Looks like we have one of the players not having a mouse anymore. Playing by keyboard and controller hasn't really caught on yet, so we're going to have a short pause as that is repaired. Small structural lead right now for 30k.
I actually have a friend who has recently figured out how to play Heroes of the Storm with a controller.
I have seen it before.
Yes, yes. Mockery has been playing Heroes of the Storm with a controller here and there. You can have it so that Steam launches your game through big picture mode, and then you can use a controller. You can bind everything to that. It's very, very interesting if you want to give it a shot. I find it absolutely fascinating.
Why did you say Steam?
Steam.
You can run HoTS through Steam?
Yeah, so what Steam has an option where you can add a non-Steam game. It's on the bottom left option. Like there's like a little plus, and you can add a Steam game so you can redeem a code, or add a non-Steam game and you can point it to where in your computer you have Heroes of the Storm installed. And then you can just run it through Steam's big picture mode, which allows you to use controller. There you go.
Oh,
that's how, they explained it to me, and I was like, "Oh yeah, Mockery, that makes a lot of sense. Thank you so much." So we are with that riveting information. We are going to have the readies out from both the teams, and we are going to get back into the game in just a second. Looks like we got some batteries back into the player's mouse, and here we go. As we are back into it, we will be seeing that bottom lane Punisher coming up fairly soon.
All right, it's there's going to be a 30-second warning for that soon. Of course, our sense of timing is just a little bit paused as those game pauses came in through as well. Bottom Punisher, really Simplicity wants to keep their bottom fort alive for, so that they have a healing fountain to jump back on. On the other side, the towers aren't even scratched. So 30k doesn't only have the fountain, but they've got the safe fallback point of that wall with the 2 towers. And just now, we had Madara on Mephisto showing bot by himself. Johanna and Malf currently are not in vision. Okay, Johanna isn't, Malf is. Johanna now walks past the tank, because you're trying to see, could Johanna be bot? Could people be trying to gank Maiev? This is what Simplicity must be wondering. But everyone showed, so yeah, no more questions. Now it's just a race to 13 for 30k to see if they can use that to win the objective.
Where he throws out the Spirit of Vengeance, gets a little bit of vision, and we're getting ready for our shrine. Grubby, I know that the vast majority of the Simplicity comms will be in Korean, but do we want to try and jump in there and listen in?
Yeah, let's do it.
In we go.
Oh, look at, I'm gonna look for disc. No, displays. Going.
넣어놓게 했어 일단. 벙커부터.
아 쉣.
이거 타워렌 봐줘야 돼. 한줄 뒤쪽.
빼면서. 나 이거 샘 찍고 올게. 그냥 탑.
I think we got a little bit of insight, some reactionary words we might have been able to pick up here and there, as well as some calls like we were hearing from Porky on the containment as target, but seems like Apto had a different idea with that mosh pit onto someone else, which was cleansed by Cattle's falling sword. And this is going to be another shrine over to the side of 30k here, Grubby.
Yep, nicely played. They dodged ETC's mosh pit, they dodged his power slide, they had him out on an island. Malfurion got to 40% and was silenced by wailing. Got into the bunker. Liam really saved this fight here. That bunker was just a complete thorn in the side for Simplicity. That Malf kill that they were supposed to get, completely denied to them. So now you've got a mid push with 6 Khasra Impaler.
Yeah.
While the Punisher's pushing bottom, it is not even being attempted to be defended. This is because Simplicity doesn't want to lose mid fort to player push, and they were hoping to maybe get a kill in the center. But they don't have their ults that they would need to take a fight. There's just Hortipult. He's gonna Hortipult in. He gets the slow from the level 7 garbage fire. This is a strange coordination fight. They do get a kill there on Mephisto, but it leaves them low, and the Punisher is still pushing.
Here comes the rotation from Liam at the top of our screen. Look for the jet propulsion onto a few enemies because they're all grouped up. Nice knockback as well with the staggering blow from the Hogger, or that might have been a face melt from ETC. I think it was the latter of the two, as this is just going to be the Punisher still pushing in through bottom lane at 10%. The mid lane fort will fall. I have to say here, Grubby, this might have been a massive blunder on the Simplicity side for how much they just lost.
Yeah, I think so. Like, the Hortipult could not have been followed up with Lightning Bomb by the time he went in. It's just the way they did it with cooldowns of Heroic still 5-10 seconds out. I get why they did it, because if you go defend bots, you take some keep damage, you lose mid fort, and then you probably lose top fort as well because you've given up so much position on the map. I do get it, but they really needed to wipe. Again, I do get it, because they will be up against level 16, unable to fight. Like the situation they're in now, that would happen.
Oh, one Skull Missile would have gotten the kill into Porky, but they don't land it. Actually, would have one Skull Missile done the job? It actually would have, because it would have been 238 damage, and I believe Porky was a little bit below 238 HP. So we have the top lane for it to fall, and really good recognition from the side of 30k saying, okay, we know the next Punisher is top lane. We can see that on the minimap. It's free information. We know it's Mortar because we can use our cursor to hover over that, but they're not doing that. They're looking at Berber, who gets the Hortipult out, but they still go down to Mephisto. Here's Arrow, not getting the CC they're looking for, but is still a level and some change over the enemy side. Liam setting up for a jet propulsion.
Yeah, he's always in the right place,
Yeah.
Liam. Like, if you want to learn how to play Blaze, just watch him on the minimap. It's insane.
Grubby, I would actually go one further than that, and I would say if you want to learn how to play solo lane, just watch Liam. Like, because I remember in when we used to have Celebrity Clash League, that was like, 4 seasons ago, before CCL started, Liam was like, you either banned URL against him or you played and lost against his URL. Like, that's pretty much the options. I guess you could play it yourself. You're still gonna lose because he would always know the counters to you, like playing D.Va to knock back the URL. But I like the transition we've seen from Liam. He's really growing beyond just being like, okay, yeah, I'm a god tier URL, but I can also play this really, really good Blaze that's such an asset to the team with these bunkers that are so perfectly timed, as well as body blocking the enemy from time to time as well. We don't see that same case here, but it does allow 30k to kind of pivot out of this, poke at the top lane keep, and I'm not sure. I think we're not too far off from the announcement of the objective as well.
Should be coming soon. It's going to be at the top. They were softening up top keep already. 30k. They're just 2 steps away from victory. Get the objective and then push for the course. This is Simplicity's time to get a big fight. They want to step up right now. It's a classic moment of like, hey, we still have equal talents, but look at everything that's stopping them. Impalers are dismounting them. Hanzo keeps making sure that ETC drops 30% of his health every time he hits a scatter. He's dismounted. How can he get the reach on Hanzo without some really clever movement and pre-positioning?
I honestly have to say that the way that 30k is playing their draft and the draft that they have just feels... It feels not impossible, but it feels just so hard to step into. I mean, right here you've got Cure with the Sonic Arrows. They know that Porky just threw that Spirit of Vengeance. I think that might have expired before Apto comes through, but that doesn't matter. Cattle's anchoring forward for the team. Lands a Condemn, only under 1. Madara coming through, Porky's the target, Leap of Faith to be utilized. There is a Glyph of Faith for the Anduin, so he's got the extra charge. And he has that ready to go and available. Liam on the objective. There's Endurance of Hate. It will go out, connecting onto the Sylvanas. There's a lot of damage. Leap of Faith coming out as well. That's a little bit of a... No, the Falling Sword! There's the Vault of the Wardens, a Containment Disc, but that is Anduin ETC to fall. Dulal is trying to back away, sidesteps the Jet Propulsion, but it doesn't matter. Liam's got the damage, and it seems like 30K is doing not what my Storm League or any league teammates do. They're actually going core. They're like, 3 dead, a keep's already gone. We could just run through top and end the game. Whereas my teammates would be like, well, there's a camp in bottom and objectives up. We should back away. Don't want to throw the game. But this is looking like the members of 30K, while being pushed around, rooted, and, well, actually, it's going to be Porky who's going to be booted in the bottom right of our screen right now. That is the core falling on map number 2, and it will be another 30K victory here on HeroesCCL.
Yeah, very clean victory. Extremely dominating performance here by 30K. Simplicity did not look good.
Justin, let's bring you back in this one. Like as the game progressed, I think Grubby made a really good point. It's just Simplicity couldn't step into 30K in any way, shape, or form. It really felt.
Yeah, something. I'll be a little bit critical of the one kind of mistake on 30K, and then I'll go into everything else. So I talked about this last game with Cure playing the Zeratul. With the way that the game happened, Cure should be maybe not super happy with getting picked on the first objective, because I think a slightly better team would have punished that, and that would have converted into an objective for Simplicity. I'd mentioned that he's a little bit less comfortable on ranged heroes, and so just something to maybe look forward to for Cure specifically is watching that positioning, because if he's falling in a game like this, he needs to be a little more hyper aware of his positioning. That's something that he's talked about, but now that's out of the way. Obviously, the whole team played very well on the side of 30K. In the first objective, it's something that I kind of talked about before the game, that this map is mostly about fighting around your power spikes and when your windows where you're strong. Simplicity doesn't do that here. They're taking the first objective. This is where they get the pick onto Cure, which was nice, but they are already so behind on the skeletal defenders that they're not able to convert it into anything. And then since they used all the resources, like I discussed, if you use all those resources and you fight outside of your window and you lose the fight, it becomes significantly worse than if you were just giving the objective and soaking the side waves. So it's a little bit unlucky for Simplicity that it is the middle objective that spawns first. That's just bad RNG. There's nothing they can do about that. They're not able to just double soak like they would normally be able to with just one hero while the rest stall. So a little bit unlucky. But immediately 30K transitions into pushing into bot lane. They get the goats. They get this pick onto Anduin, which is really huge for helping them open up the map. 30K was constantly prepping the lanes that the next objective would be in. So when they got that pick onto Anduin, that was the lane that the next objective was going to spawn in. And then here, with this next pick that they got onto Hogger, they're just playing around this top space. They're controlling that entire top side of the map because that's where the next objective will be. And it really felt like Simplicity was just waiting to get engaged on in this last fight. It didn't feel like they really had a plan on how to play the fights. Like I discussed that the fight should probably be with Porky out of vision, throws the E over the wall, gets the light bomb proc on him when he reactivates his warden, his E, his teleport. With the stage dive in, the mosh pit into the team of 30K seems very optimistic. They have Johanna with cleanse. They have they have so many tools to stop it. It's like nearly impossible when you're walking at them from the front line to get a mosh off. So again, if that's a stage dive, if they know how to play the comp a little bit better, a little bit more focus on diving the backline together, I think it could work. But 30K is just a brick wall that Simplicity can't budge right now.
It doesn't seem like Simplicity can break on through to the other side at any sort of point throughout the last 2 games, but I think Simplicity could do it. I really do feel like they have a couple shining moments. It's just I agree. I think there's some draft blunders, and I think there are some talent picks and plays. I think when we were in those comms, one of the things that I heard, which was it seemed like Apto had their own idea of what they wanted to do, while Porky already had a containment disc on someone. Like, why not just look for the mosh pit after containment disc or something like that? So it seemed like people were playing like Storm League. They're playing their own roles. Like, I'm ETC, I gotta go land this mosh pit, but like the rest of the team wasn't really anywhere around to follow up and do anything, as it was already cleansed out by the Joanna Falling Sword. So it's an interesting series. I think 30K they could 3-0 this, but I'm a hopeless optimistic when it comes to anything, and maybe we'll see us go to a game number 4. But before any of that happens, we're gonna take a short little break. We're gonna let these players stretch their legs. We're gonna let them dig in through their draft playbooks and see if they can pull out anything interesting for map number 3. But as I said, when we come back, we're gonna find out, will 30K 3-0 the members of Simplicity, or will Simplicity start to rally up against 30K? Don't go anywhere. This is HeroesCCL presented by Wisdom. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to HeroesCCL presented by Wisdom. My name is Bahamut, joined by Grubby and Justing. And before I check in with both of you and see what you did on the break here, has everyone gone and looked at either Twitter or the launcher for the graphic that was done for this weekend? The Garrosh with the slight animation? Oh my god, does it look amazing. If you haven't opened up the launcher, or if you haven't gone on Twitter and looked at the HeroesCCL Twitter account when it was posted right when we went live, there's an animated Garrosh that I believe Vipey did, and it is so cool. Like, it's so absolutely, like, it's so detailed. I don't know, like, I keep looking at it, I can just stare at it for hours because it's just so well done. But of course, welcome back everyone to HeroesCCL. We're in the midst of 30K versus Simplicity. Justin, what'd you get up to in the break, bud?
I gave Springy some belly rubs. She's over on my dresser, so gotta give her some belly rubs before I leave. And I went and got some coffee. How about you guys?
Nice. I got some water, stretched my legs, and I actually just looked at that graphic and I was like, I gotta tell people about this. But of course, Grubby, what'd you get up to, bud?
I slouched when the break screen came on, and when we got back on camera, I sat up again.
A true professional, not even leaving, not even going to stretch his legs. He's in it. He's in it to win it, of course. No, but, no. Thank you all for joining us. We're in this series right here, and I believe we're getting ready for our map number 3. We've actually had some pretty dominant maps so far. So let's actually check out where we've gone to and where we're gonna go to for map number 3 here in just a second, as it is going to be 30K taking us to Sky Temple, as it is going to be the side of Simplicity opting in for first pick priority. Now, Sky Temple, I think we've actually seen a Sky Temple map or two so far. I'm actually trying to look it up really quickly before. We've seen 2 Sky Temple maps. We had Diamond Hands versus Granite Gaming, and we saw Simplicity versus Wild Heart. So, a couple Sky Temple maps so far this season, Justing. Really excited about this.
Yeah, it's weird to see 30K picking Sky Temple, because it's kind of a more macro-focused map. It's something that you would more expect Simplicity to be picking, considering the way that their previous matches have gone. And I think they might have been the team that picked it last week, so it's a little bit strange to see 30K taking them to these large maps. Shrines make sense, but you'd expect maybe more things like BOE, where it's just really brawl-heavy, just small map, where you can fight a lot. But interesting to see that that's sort of the general strategy coming out from 30K already.
You are correct. Simplicity did choose this map last week, as Wildheart went for first pick priority for that first map in the series of the day. So nice call on that one, Justin. Grubby, of course, any thoughts for Sky Temple or this matchup or anything you want to talk about as we're getting ready for our map number 3? I like how you're looking around like, what do I want to talk about?
Well, it's just like Simplicity is not playing as well as 30K. So there's no magic cure. There's only cure, and he's on the other side. And so in these moments, you can either go pure cheese and try to do something unexpected, very much in one direction, where you try to be like, okay, we're gonna go. I don't want to say Juice Pirates. I'm not gonna say it. You're not gonna think it. But I think you should take something that is very easily achievable.
Okay.
Last time in this situation when Simplicity was 0-2, I said maybe Stitches. Towers of Doom was their third map. It was banned out. It was quite smart. One player needs to be able to make a play without teamwork, because we've been on the comms. It doesn't sound good.
Yeah.
Inside the fights, there's nothing important being said. One target gets called out and everyone is just playing like it's Storm League automatically with no voice. It's not easy. If it's not there, you can't magic it there. Clearly, it's not there yet. It's going to take time. It's going to need practice. They're going to need to play together. I don't know if they are. And so you just need something that really leaves no room for imagination when it comes to play and follow up. So with Diablo, it's like, are you gonna overpower after the Shadow Charge or not?
Yeah.
With the ETC, it's like, you gotta dance. Left, right, face melt, power slide. There's a lot of nuance. You know where there isn't a lot of nuance? Things like an Uberak Cocoon. That's pretty obvious. There's a really long stun time. What about Varian? That is a bit more obvious. So let's go with something really basic. It's probably still not going to work, just setting expectations here.
Sure.
But something really easily telegraphed that even in Storm League you can follow up on. I think that's how we need to play it.
And I think you're really right with that. I think in last season, I can't remember the team, but there was, maybe it was season 2, but there was a team that was struggling a little bit, and so they ended up just doing, I think it was Sylvanas, Chromie, and Varian, and they were just doing these one-shot comps, and it was so easy because Chromie, Varian, I mean, those two can nearly one-shot a hero. You add in a Sylvanas, and I mean, we've talked about how strong she can be, but Justin, we're starting out with a first pick Lunara, no Anduin ban this time around. It's a little bit different. Same bans from the side of 30k though. So, Lucio and the Junkrat.
Yeah, a little weird. They're banning out the Sylvanas and taking the Lunara from first pick, so they don't want to first pick the Sylvanas, it seems, which is a little strange. All the other teams seem to be okay with that. They have picked kind of strange later draft picks for simplicity in the first 2 games. I would, at this point, kind of prefer to see them just pick standard stuff, just sort of see how they do in a straight 5v5 with maybe a more front-to-back style composition where you're just focusing on the enemy tank. Cattle picking the Anubrak quite early makes that look a little bit easier if you have something like a Greymane or something. This is good for simplicity. Kind of, maybe not, but if they're having communication issues, they could always put Porky on Gall. That's an option. They could play Cho'Gall and let him kind of just hang out. But I'm not expecting that. They just need to play front to back. I think that's kind of what Simplicity needs to do. Nothing too crazy. Their last composition required way too much coordination, even for any team this new into the season. These teams haven't been playing together for years or months, so that was just a very high execution comp last game. I'd like to see them play something a little bit more straightforward.
And this Muradin Lunara Brightwing seems very straightforward. Land a Stormbolt, Polymorph, put all the damage in that target. So that could be the direction they're heading into, as we have a Hogger ban. I like the Hogger for this map. Grubby, I think Hogger actually works on nearly every map, but the Anubrak Blaze is just a strong start because it shows nothing of what you really want to do on your draft.
Yeah, triple Blaze in a row as well. Not super exciting for Liam. He doesn't get to like flex some other heroes, but he's doing exactly what the team needs. They've come here to destroy. They've come here to do their best, and this is a very good front line. Now, normally, sometimes against Blaze and Uberak, in the past, you may sometimes see an Ana pick. Smelling Salts is quite good into an Uberak Blaze, but maybe slightly too much to ask here. On Sky Temple, where you can easily get flanked, and also, small consideration towards the ping. Ana is a pretty difficult execution hero. We are going to see Rhaegar from a winning team once. They do like to see Rhaegar coming out here, bringing up some wave clear here that Anubrak doesn't really have. Blaze has it, Rhaegar has it, Hanzo has it. It leaves the loss really to be allowed to be anyone. It really could be anyone, because wave clear has been covered. It could even be Abathur.
It's a really, really good draft theory coming out from 30k, but of course adjusting.
It couldn't be Cho'Gall. It could almost be anyone.
Why do you hurt me?
We still have 2 players on the same page if they go Cho'Gall.
Why do you hurt me like this, Justin? I thought we were friends.
No, Cho'Gall's busted, but unfortunately it won't be picked up here. It is possible that 30k has decided that last game was their peak, and they're now a Rhaegar picking team. We'll see how this goes for them. We haven't seen Rhaegar having the most success, but they didn't. At least they didn't pick it really early on, so not really holding true to the way that it has been being prioritized and having the losses. We do see Genji again picked up by Simplicity. I'm hoping that we see more Genji as the season progresses. There it is. That's weird. This isn't a CPX team, but yeah, I see a Nova. This might be a bug or a glitch of some kind, but we do have a Nova picked in last pick, so 30k is allowing themselves one piece of fun this game. The Nova.
I'll be blunt. It feels like a troll pick, but of course, Justin.
Yeah.
While we're loading into the game, I have
you.
to get your. That's what it looks like to me. But Justin, I gotta hear what you think about this, because
Yeah, the Nova pick comes out. It's a little bit goofy. I'm assuming that it's just that 30K is sort of feeling themselves. They know that they're confident going into this game. They've been really strong in the last 2 games. I think this is just them having a bit of fun. But the Nova, obviously not... It doesn't have anything too crazy. It's got the Merc Camp cooldown with the Bribe if they look to go that. The Q build is good, but I've tried her a bit in ARAM and tried different builds with her when I've gotten her. I think the auto attack build is actually pretty strong with the armor piercing rounds. So I'll be curious to see whether he goes Q build or armor piercing rounds. And on the side of Simplicity, once again, they don't have a very good front to back team comp, so they're going to have a lot of execution if they want to be able to win against 30K here.
All right. Bahamut seems to have some technical difficulties presently. So I'm just gonna keep talking until I'm told we're gonna have a restart or a pause, or that we are going to carry on as a solo cast. So I'll keep an eye on production there for a second as the game.
I'm back.
Yep, I kind of hear you there, Bahamut. What's up?
I think you can hear me in Discord. I think I might be back. All right, I'm told that I can be here. My game's still reconnecting, but I'll cast from something else. I'm here. I'm ready to go. We won't introduce the teams. We're just going to get right into this. My apologies that everything kind of paused there for a second, but it seems like I can be heard, so we'll just keep casting and we'll keep going from what we have available. 30K in the blue, Simplicity in the red, as Liam is getting pressured up in this top lane. I really I don't want to miss any Sylvanas play, as Liam is, oh my god, that's first blood to the side of Simplicity here.
All right, Porky getting a kill there together with Burr. This is the best situation that Simplicity has been in so far, and all it took was for Bahamut to drop for a bit.
Oh, rude. You know what? I guess
crediting you. Why are you making it like I didn't say something nice?
I just the one time I get a potential Nova, it's like the game's like, get out of here. But Cattle, hold on, he's got some good damage onto Apto, but it seems like the Dwarf Toss will be able to get this Muradin out of here.
All right. So invade or take your own camp. It's always a big question. This is pretty insane, actually. Simplicity pushing 30K off of their own siege camp. Brightwing, does she have Z? Yes, she does. In she comes. Burr is here also. It does mean that Blaze is absolutely going to town on the towers in the top lane. Liam is taking down a top tower very nearly. He's actually going to pop Pyromania, I can see, in that top lane, in order to take down the fort. It costs him a lot of health. He takes down the tower. He drops to a quarter of health. Liam, you naughty pants. But that's double siege camp to Simplicity, and that gives them an XP for mercenaries worth 560 XP. By comparison, the level 1 kill they got was worth 305. And this 560 mercenary camp XP is more than 10% than what has been generated through minions so far. So it's really quite respectable to take your own siege camp and then your opponents, in addition to the small push damage it can do or mitigate.
We actually have the announcement of the objective phase right now, so we are going to be seeing the top 2 temples spawning here in about 30 seconds. This is pretty standard for the map. The first objective is top and mid. Bottom is going to be the second one. But oh my god, the invade onto the camp over here. Wishing comes through as well. Porky and friends are looking to invade onto this camp. Can they actually get this? There's going to be, I think it was a soothing miss from Wishing. Wishing so very low, trying to back away. That's Cure getting the agility over the wall, but Porky wants the kill. Here comes Cattle over to help out, but it doesn't work out. A trade. And in the end, the camp does go to the side of 30K. Will Berber be able to back away? Stormbolt from Muradin slows down Liam.
Cattle with the impale dodged deftly by Apto with the Muradin, dwarf toss away. That was a Bruiser Camp steal invade fail, but they did already have their own, so it's not too bad for Simplicity. They're also able to take top temple in order to protect their own fort, as they had already lost towers there. All in all, quite an equal situation and very well managed by 30K there. They were very close to capping the Bruiser. Nobody from Simplicity could step off, but they had to step off. And then the Bruiser camp went towards 30K. Now trying to defend that top Bruiser camp. Simplicity is also a bit split. Wishing is in the bottom lane with Brightwing, and he has phase shift available should it become necessary. Porky on the warpath. He's sitting on the flank below the 3 members that are looking at Apto.
Apto is just trying to get as much as they can out of this objective in top lane, but Nova's got the slows. This not enough damage to get the kill onto Apto, as we do have Porky going in. Phase shift from Wishing. Oh my god, what a great dive, what a great kill we just got from the side of Simplicity, as Legacy is going to go down as well. This is what Simplicity needed in this game. They needed to find a couple kills to build some momentum, and I feel, Grubby, they might have started to do that.
Yeah, nice job there. Simplicity with 4 kills already. Starting to throw their weight around a little bit with an experience lead. Not too big of an experience lead, but it's there.
So the experience is quarter, half level. I bet it's probably closer to quarter, but we have a great job from Dahaka doing double soak rotations. Does have the enhanced agility at level 1 to be able... wait, slows? Nah, they're not going to be able to find the kill. Nova did go into the Halo stability at level 4 and has the anti-armor shells as well. So this is looking like get some slows, get some big damage, and possibly later on get some armor reducing as well, if I'm not mistaken, on my Nova talent tree.
Well, Nova has 2 talents for armor reduction. That's how insane of a hero she is.
Right. She's got one off of the pinning shot, and she also has one. Literally, the anti-armor shells is a armor reducing talent as well.
Yeah, it'd be weird if it didn't. Anti-armor shells. It could barely be more specific. If it was called anti-armor slow auto attack, then it would be extremely descriptive in the talent name. But impressive that despite the 4-1 in kills, we have an experience equality. That's the power of 30k's macro.
And I'm looking to see where that's coming from. Minion experience is about a 2,000 difference, and a little bit from structures, and I think that's really where they've closed the gap. The members of Simplicity are ahead in heroic kills, obviously, in mercenaries as well, and not and actually still equal in passive experiences. No structures have fallen. In top lane, Blaze is going up against Dahaka. Blaze losing out a little bit right now, but the bottom lane is where we will see our second objective of the game.
I'm just going to look at Cure a bit here. He gets revealed by Porky. This is valuable because it resets spinning shot, overlaps.
Yep.
He needs a, a 2-second period. A 2-second period of being stealthed. So a total 5 seconds of not being hit, essentially. Then he gets a 60% slow on his pinning shot. He's still been revealed. They see him, Porky, with the reveal again. He keeps doing that. And that's actually going to keep his team more alive, more safe.
Avatar from Murden will be utilized. Dahaka getting chunked as the bunker comes down from Blaze. Here, Akata with an amazing
triple
read.
tap!
Yeah, of course, triple tap! And it gets put on a
Single
cooldown.
tap.
Yeah, I know, right? Huge arrow comes out from Hanzo not connecting. Apto gets the phase shift from Wishing, and it's going to be Liam to fall 1 to 5 in kills. Cocoon on to the Genji, but will he be able to back away? Absolutely. The Temple phase still with about 75% of its shots left. This is looking great to the members of Simplicity.
Yeah, very nice engage there with the drag tongue on Blaze, knowing that Liam had already used the bunker. Nice Stormbolt interrupt as well by Apto on the Merlin to get that triple tap to stop. I can't believe that we actually are getting a triple tap here. When CPX showcased his Nova on Volskaya Foundry 1 or 2 seasons ago, 2 seasons ago I think, well, maybe 1.
I think it was last season on Volskaya, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, he went with the precision strike, if I'm not mistaken. Hero coming in with triple tap. Clearly, Hero has been putting in some hardcore preparation for Nova triple tap in the offseason.
Well, I mean, reset at level 20 is amazing. If you find the kill, you get the reset. You are the #1 hero killer. What?
Baha.
What?
Don't fool them.
It's a good talent. It is.
But you
For
need a
quick
kill
match.
first.
For quick match, it's really good. I get a lot of value with it in my quick match games. Why can't it? Isn't that a 1-to-1 comparison? Quick match to HeroesCCL. But I do want to.
It is actually. I'm just being salty that every time I play it, it doesn't get the results. So I'm envious of you and everyone that makes it work.
There you go. You heard it here first, everybody. I am apparently better than Grubby. That's what he's admitting. So with that, we'll just trade accounts really quickly. You can have mine. I'll have yours. That is going to be a little bit of damage onto Berber, who does burn the burrow into bottom lane. We have Blaze clearing out the top as quickly as he possibly can. And I'm just looking around right now. Talent tier lead to the side of Simplicity. And Legacy and Friends, yeah, they need to clear out the Sentinel Wisp because that is making Madara's life really difficult with that level 1.
Yeah, it's quite a good ability here. Sadly, Nova would have probably had a great debut if not for that pesky Lunara and her scouts from those wisps. Maybe, you know what I think maybe happened? 30k was like, Cure, can you just take that cloaker again to close this out? And then he misunderstood which one they meant. They meant Zera. He thought Nova. Common misunderstanding, really. A lot of people in Storm League have that as well. Take that OP cloaker and they like lock in Valera or Nova.
Ooh, I'd love to see more Valera, honestly. I feel like she can work on some maps, like Towers of Doom. Great map for her. But right now, things are not looking good for Cure. He gets the Ancestral Healing just in time. That's going to be a cocoon on to the Genji. Here comes a Jet Propulsion, a point-blank arrow from Cure once again, who jumps into the bunker. There's the triple tap, and they manage to body block the shots, but still, Lunara does go down. She gets whittled down low enough. There's the Avatar from Muradin to be utilized as he tries to back away. Meanwhile, Berber is going to be able to burrow away. Actually, no, he's not! Cure finds some sort of massive burst damage. There's a Jet Propulsion, and everything Simplicity has been building to this moment is washed away. It's gone. That's it. Equal levels. I mean, yes, you have a structural advantage through the bottom lane, but Grubby, this is boss. This is a temple phase. Things are going to swap very quickly to the side of the 30k.
Yep. They actually won their first fight here. And also, by the way, I noticed that I've been calling Cure on Nova. I don't know why, but it's Madara. Sorry about that.
No worries.
He's cloaked, so it's hard to see. Did you see? You just throw me under the bus, remember? If you notice it.
Oh, okay. I don't like doing that. You're my friend.
No, just yeah, of course. That's why you can say it without any hard feelings.
That's fair. That's fair.
So that I don't confuse the viewer. But maybe he like picked it and then they swapped and I just completely missed that. And I just keep seeing like Nova on the edge. Anyway, it's not about me. I won't say it wrong again. They did get their first big victory here, 30k. And then the boss off the back of that. We're now in an equal structural situation with actually 30k taking a small lead. It'll certainly be a little bit insult to injury here if 30k can win after the bad early to mid game with the hero that they have with triple tap, then able to turn it around. It would really cement their dominance here tonight over Simplicity. Damn.
It could very much be that. Nova not seen by Muradin in the rotation. If Nova or a stealth hero stands completely still, they don't have any sort of shimmer, and that's what Madara was doing on the right side of this engagement. But now that Apto is on the vision center, that is going to be a Nova backing away because she cannot be, well, stealth when there is that true sight around. We have the temple phase ending, and in the end of it all, we still have one structure up in the mid lane for the side of 30k. They will be able to have their fort up and available as the invade onto the Siege Giants will come through, but they shouldn't find any value. Lunara looking on the minimap to grab a camp on the top right, but there's going to be an initiation from Apto. Big burrow in from Cattle, but it feels more defensive than anything else. Drag from Dahaka at max range connects. He does have the drag range increase from the level 16. 16's apiece. Hanzo looking to find an arrow angle onto all of this. Nova throwing a copy into the bush just to get a little bit of vision. Jet Propulsion from Blaze does connect. Madara looking to step in, but does not continue to chase any further as Dahaka showing in top lane to clear things out.
I think he brush-stalked up there because he was just here. Oh no, he walked. Okay, they're quite fast with enhanced agility. Really cool drag tongue there on Nova, the very early Ancestral Healing just to keep her alive. Almost like some of those Divine Palms that don't get the healing effect, but that stop people from focusing her. Because Nova got dragged, took like a 5 health Ancestral Healing, but it was really just to keep her alive. Now Cattle looking for some original attacks through the side lane, but with the Wisp standing still for 5 seconds, boom, he gets revealed.
Yeah,
they know everything.
Massive vision revealed by Lunara from that Sentinel Wisp. She can see beyond the boss and well to the right-hand side, but that's not what matters. What matters right now is the double temple phase coming up, and we have that true sight to be grabbed by Cattle. This will help Madara be able to still stay stealthy around this engagement. Berber realizes that, goes for the drag, doesn't connect. That level 16 increases the drag range by 20% for anyone wondering. That's the only benefit you do get from that. And enhanced agility, 1 stack away from having 140%. But here comes big dive onto Apto. Muradin pops the Avatar. Porky comes in with the agility, but does not go for anything like a Dragon's Blade or anything further than that as the objective phase is up. Dahaka to bottom. Cattle to mid.
That was the seeing in action Lunara's abolish magic on Meriden as he was hitting Meriden with the double stun. Useful to have Lunara coming in and providing some extra cleanse. Now it's a temple trade here, slightly in favor of 30k as they still had the fort to buffer. Though the bottom temple is slightly more valuable because it synergizes with the boss in creating and carving a path to victory via the bottom lane straight to the core. So altogether not too bad for simplicity, and it's still all to play for. I really get this sense, Bahamut, that it's going to come down to one singular fight that's going to create massive map control, storm tier supremacy, and then the chance to finish off and take the boss. One fight.
And that could be around the boss. I mean, that is a common throw pit or a throw area on a map like this. Bottom lane, as you were mentioning, is a very tactically strong lane to push in and get some whittle damage, because not only do you have the boss, as you had mentioned, there's also the double siege giant camp that is got a, believe a 2-minute cooldown on it. Actually, 3 minutes if I'm not mistaken. But either way, it is that siege camp to be grabbed already by the side of 30k, and we'll be able to find out that camp timer. 3 minutes, yes.
Now, Bahamut, without looking, who do you think has the highest hero damage in this game?
I'm gonna go with Kier's Hanzo.
Nope, it's Madara's Nova.
Yes! I was hoping. I was like, maybe if I say
You're setting it up.
Maybe if I say Kier's Hanzo, it'll be Nova. That literally was my thought. I was like, if I say the thing that I don't want it to be, maybe it will be the thing I want it to be. Just metagaming the metagame, but here comes a big dive, a rewind, a phase shift canceled out by a cocoon. So Wishing on the right side of your screen is going to be moving into this. Does have the blink heal available. Apto pops the avatar. Dwarf tosses in. Has the heavy impact for that slow. Ancestor healing with the Farseer's Blessing gets that second trigger, splashing onto allies around you. Here comes the triple tap from Madara. That's going to get some damage onto Wishing. Now, there's no level 20 pickup on the reload. It's the Apollo suit for the cooldown on the Perma Cloak, which pairs well into the level 1 as well as the 13-16. But with a double kill to the side of 30k, with Siege Giants already in bottom lane on the keep front gate, and more to be grabbed, here comes a boss to the side of 30k. And for anyone wondering, right below the boss, there's that little eye on the well. There's a little, lid on, there's a well right below them. If you left-click that a bunch of times, it'll release Harrison Jones from Tomb of the Spider Queen. There's your fun map tip of the day. Left-click on the little well lid. It'll crack open, Harrison Jones jumps out.
Just do it.
We can't do it because we're observers. I've tried it before.
Yeah, I mean, I was instructing chat.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Do it. Let him free every time.
You have to free him. If you don't free him, that's on you. Blizzard knows.
So this level 20 for Nova is pretty sick. Takes her cloak cooldown from 3 to 1. It means that she's cloaked in between anti-armor shell shots very quickly each time. I think I actually underrated this talent a bit. Look, she shoots and cloaked. Oh, actually, we're not looking at it yet. You can admire Nova. Cloaked, mounts, cloaked. It's very quick, that 1 second.
Apto is stepping up really far from their team. The assumption is that phase shift is off a cooldown, but still a little nerve-wracking right there, as we do have Liam grabbing the center eye to get that true side around. Cattle in the flank position with Liam. Here comes Apto with the dwarf toss, pops the rewind, goes in with a double dwarf toss, trying to focus in onto Rhaegar, who did get hit with the contagion from level 20, but it doesn't matter. The Farseer's Blessing comes through. The blink heals are good. Apto able to back away. Cocoon onto the Brightwing. She's got no blinkable targets. No one's in range. Now Porky's trying to get in range to give a target to blink to, but good night! That is a dead Brightwing, a dead Genji, Lunara, oh my god, Cure, please, with that level 20.
Cure.
Sonic Arrow, that is not easy, that bullseye. Still, you have a faster speed on your missile, but it's still hard to land, especially against a Lunara. It's a pentakill to the side of 30k. They rush to core, and this will be the debut Nova for HeroesCCL Season 4. This will also be Nova's first win in HeroesCCL history. GG. Well played, 30k.
True that, and probably, I mean, it will be a long time until we see that in CCL future to see a triple tap victory. Even if we see Nova again, even if we see her win again, will it be with triple tap? History being made here. Nice victory.
I do have a quick thought on this while we get Justin back in here. I do have a quick thought on the triple tap, because triple tap forces teams to purposefully get out of, well, not purposely get out of position, but it forces teams to almost get out of position, because if you put triple tap on the 2% Lunara, 25% Lunara, she will go down to it, but then it forces Murd and Brightwing, anyone, to get in front of those shots, and they're taking damage. So I think there are layers to this onion. Yes, I agree, Precision Strike is really cool, big booms, yay, does structural damage, but I think triple tap, it's got a little nuance to it, and I think we did see that a couple times in the fight. But of course, Justin, you can tell me I'm wrong, you can throw me under the bus as well. Do I have it right? Am I big braining, or am I not? Am I not?
Your brain is the largest.
There it is. It may be the smoothest brain, but it is the biggest brain.
Sure.
Yep, yeah,
okay.
Yep.
It's not quite as large as Madara's though. The gaming legend, the man, the myth, the Nova one trick, maybe. Madara absolutely decimating the opponents here on the Nova. 100% win rate, triple tap, 100% win rate. Good stuff from Madara. But Simplicity actually looked quite a lot better in that last game, like way better than their previous games, than any of the games they've played. Although they did lose, it really came down to those last 2 team fights for them. Up until that point, really aggressive. I really liked seeing that. That was kind of what I was hoping to see from them, is just tons of aggression, and we see that here too. This nearly went very poorly for 30k. There were a lot of moments like this. The main thing that really turned the fights is Liam with the bunkers. They weren't super impactful in the first couple weren't super impactful, but as we got a little bit later into the game, like here, Simplicity was just barely unable to get the kills they needed, and once they're engaging that aggressively and that deeply, once they get countered by that bunker, if enough members are able to get in there without dying, things turn really quickly. So 30k, Liam did a good job with the bunkers. I would say that overall, I think Burr on the Dahaka was actually, had they won, would have absolutely been my MVP. He had, even in this clip, he had a nice tongue and isolation onto Legacy, onto the Rhaegar, just not quite the follow-up that you'd expect. And there was a lot of miscommunication between Porky and Apto on the Murden. Apto on the Murden was playing extremely aggressive, and he was diving into the backline, but they didn't have Porky with the Dragon Blade to follow it up. Typically, you'd see the Dragon Blade come out a lot after. So I'd like to see Porky be a lot more proactive here. Like, if Porky is down there, if Porky's on Legacy in the backline in this moment, he probably goes down. I think they actually win this fight, and the fight before this as well. Cattle had a rewind combo onto a full HP Muradin and then cocooned him, and they won the fight, even though Dahaka hit a tongue onto the backline. So a lot of issues going on with Simplicity, but 30k not playing perfectly either, although they do win and take the series. This is kind of a special case with Simplicity, you know, not having the best showing so far. I'm kind of expecting more from 30k as the kind of deemed NA super team. This game easily could have went to Simplicity, especially with the way that the engages were in those last 2 fights. I think the start of the fight by Apto and by Burr was a winning start to both of those fights, had the follow-up been there from the rest of the team. So 30k, well, they do win the series, they do take the 3-0. Simplicity is looking a lot stronger in that last game, and I'm excited to see them next week, and I'm excited to see 30k kind of clean it up for next week. They were obviously playing Nova, so they might have been having a little bit of fun, playing a little loose in that last game, but I'd like to see them clean it up for next week.
I really like 30k's play in map 1 and 2, and I definitely agree with you. It did feel a little sloppy is not the right word, because they won, they had some really shining moments, but it did feel like they kind of tripped over their own feet at some times. It was like, we have this Nova, we have all these big plays, but they kind of just fumbled, if you will, in some of those key critical moments. But the critical thing at the end of the day is that 30k does take a 3-0 up against Simplicity, and we're going to get ready for a short little interview here in just a few seconds. I have to say, like, the one thing that I really want to ask, whoever we get from 30k, the one thing I really want to ask is just why the Nova and stuff like that. Was it just to have fun? Did they feel like they had the guaranteed win up against Simplicity? Because I feel like that's what you do. Like, I don't think it was like BM by any means. I don't think 30k is coming out here saying like, we can beat you with any hero. I think it's a little bit of like, we want to have fun, as Justin was saying, and we feel like we can beat you with this fun hero. Like, I do feel like there's validity to the draft, and yeah, they could have just grabbed so many other things, but instead they went ahead and grabbed their Nova, and we actually have the Nova player with us right now. And Madara, can you hear us?
Yeah, can you guys hear me?
Yeah, absolutely. Congratulations on your victory up against Simplicity. First and foremost, how you feeling?
Feeling pretty good after that one, thanks.
All right. Well, I don't want to hog all the Nova questions, because that's all we're going to ask you. There's nothing else to talk about. But of course, Justin, take it away.
Yep. First off, congratulations. How does it feel to show off the Nova in that last game? How did it feel being commanding that much power, having kind of the whole team rely on you in that last game on the Nova pick. How'd that feel with all that pressure?
Yeah, it felt really good. I remember last season, CPX pulled out the Nova, lost with it, so I had to do my due diligence and bring that win rate up a bit. So it felt really good to accomplish that today.
There you go. Grubby, any questions for Madara?
Can you explain your build and why it's the best?
Oh, I mean, this is these are the only talents you can take on the hero. I've been playing her for a couple months now. I got like an 80% win rate. The level 1's really the crux of it. It's basically an earthquake. So you earthquake them and then you one-shot them, and that's all there is to it. And then of course you go triple tap. Like that's a no-brainer.
But why no triple tap reset?
Okay, I like that, but you saw in that last fight, I was about to get the kill and then Genji deflects it. It's just too reliable for him to do that, so I didn't think I'd be able to get much value out of it. And I didn't want to get
Makes sense.
my 20 absolutely bullied away by Porky. It would have been too shameful.
That makes a lot of sense.
Oh man. Okay. All right. So I have to ask you. Next weekend, you're going up against Wildheart on Sunday. Any thoughts on that matchup to go up against Wildheart, and maybe any expectations for your team results?
Yeah, I'm excited to play them. We've been playing them in scrims a bit. They're actually looking really strong. So I think that match actually could go either way. I'm definitely hopeful for our team, and I think we'll come out on top. But I think they're looking a bit like a dark horse this season. Didn't see them ranked too high on any of the power rankings, but I think they actually have a really good chance.
I think that was the biggest thing that Justin and I had talked about, and that was the biggest point Justin had made throughout the preseason reveal, is that it was just like Wildheart could be this dark horse, and well, maybe Madara is confirming it. We'll have to definitely see next weekend, and also later on today, as we do have Wildheart versus Oxygen. But of course, Madara, before we let you skedaddle out of here, are there any shouts that you'd like to give? The floor is all yours.
Yeah, for sure. Huge shout out to the team and to Michael and to our support staff at 30K. It's been a blast. Really big shout out to all of you guys putting this on. Like the LAN, putting that on is going to be amazing. And Twitch chat, of course. And last huge shout out to Heinz Ketchup, now made with 100% real tomatoes.
Thank you so much for joining us, Madara. And I do agree with you. That is the best version of Heinz Ketchup. If you are going to get Heinz Ketchup, it is actually, it's a lot better. We actually had this conversation right before we did the preseason interview. But either way, Madara, congratulations once again on your victory. Good luck in your scrims throughout this week, and we'll see you next Sunday up against Wildheart in the final matchup of the weekend.
Thanks. Madara.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us, Madara. I love it. I love it, jesting. I love it, jesting. And could you elaborate why Heinz Ketchup with real tomatoes is the best ketchup out there?
I can't really explain it. It just hits different.
Okay.
That's all.
That's all. I mean, you sound out of breath, like you almost need like you need like a shot of ketchup or something.
Yeah, I didn't expect it. Like I've got like the keychain right here and stuff. I'm just like a huge fan. Like I'm like swagged out. I've got like my stuff on hand, like just in case like I need a snack and stuff. Like I'm just a big fan. So
Heinz, come sponsor HeroesCCL. Come sponsor some esports stuff. We'll talk about ketchup on your stream, or mustard, or your relish, whatever you want us to talk about. Come sponsor us. But you know what?
Hell, we'll talk about it anyway.
That is
so you
true.
have nothing to gain, but please just do it anyway.
That's bad. No, Grubby, that's not how that works. You don't want to say it like that.
I'm so bad at
at
this stuff.
Actually, I could take my phone out of the package and I could like talk to them now.
See?
If they're actually calling. So
okay,
yeah, I'll have to take this after the break. But
okay. Well,
I'll get back to you guys
I'm
on
so
it.
confused right now.
Before we go to a break and we stretch our legs and we get ready for our next best of 5 of the day, I want to talk to you all about Ball Street, who has partnered with us for HeroesCCL Season 4. HeroesCCL Fantasy is back. We've partnered with Ball Street to bring you CCLmarkets.com. It's a free pick'em game that lets you choose HeroesCCL winners in real time as you watch the action. Simply buy shares of the team you think is going to win the matchup and sell shares of the team you think is going to lose. The best part? You can change your mind at any time because the market is always open. Buy and sell all match long to get a better score. Every night, the top traders on CCL Markets will win prizes, and you can compete all season long. Join CCLmarkets.com and win prizes as you watch today's broadcast. I gotta say, Ball Street, thank you for partnering with us. Thank you for making the gambles very, very interesting. I'm sure a lot of people are having fun with those today, and we're not done with these matches by any means. We are going to be getting ready for our next best of 5 of the day. It will be Wildheart versus Oxygen Esports, and I want to let you all know. I want to let you all know really, really quickly. The stream is going to drop for a couple seconds here. The reason being is we want to restart some stuff. We want to make sure we get that smoothness and that perfect picture quality that you're all here for and you want to see. So the stream will go down for a little bit. Don't panic, don't fear, don't go anywhere, because when the stream comes back and when we come back, we are going to be getting into that second matchup of the day, Wildheart versus Oxygen Esports. You do not want to miss this matchup. This is the highlight matchup of the day, and this is HeroesCCL presented by Wisdom.